Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the PMPL North America Fall Split Day 4. I'm your boy, the Stone World's Game, and I'm going to be your host, and I have none other than the handsome Cameron Davis to my right or to my left, depending on where you're currently looking at it. How you been, Cameron?
It's your left. It's your left. It's the audience's right. I'm good. Wrong way. Up the side.
Oh, no, actually, yeah, they switched it.
No, man,
that's why I was confused with it.
It's been a really good series of games so far this week. Excited for even more. I am ready to watch the remix 24K show. Kindness can come along as well, but those are the key players that we've been seeing put out the numbers all week, and like I have no reason to think that it won't continue.
I hope it doesn't stop. Okay, I'm with you there. But before we get started, let's actually take a look at the calendar, because there's going to be a lot of action coming to you for PUBG Mobile Esports North America. We're already almost done with week 1. We do have phase 2 coming next week. We are going to be having a break there for the first week of September. And as you can see there on your screen, phase 3 will be 11 through 17. And then on to the finals, which we already, I kind of think we already have some favorites for the finals. I'm not going to say them out loud. I don't know if you... Do you have a favorite?
YKG and Hyper. Like, it's, I mean, come on. Like, okay, we'll see it in the overall, but they are so far ahead. Right now, we still have an entire, like, half of phase 1, 2 entire phases after that, so things can change. But at the moment, there are some very clear heavy hitters.
Yeah, well, you know what? You've been hinting at it. I kind of want to take a look at the overall right away, because, as you mentioned, there is some teams, especially here in phase 1, that have just pretty much ran away with it. Although we have seen some changes from some teams. They're starting to catch up. They especially use day 3. I can think of right away of after day 2, 12, 13, and 14, teams like Execute, teams like K19, and teams like Puppeteer. They had some big jumps. All of them ended up with 30 or more points for the day, which was huge, because those were teams that definitely needed them.
Yeah, and remember, it's not about winning each phase, winning the week, right? It's about queuing qualifying to the grand finals. Like, that's the Americas finals. That's sort of step number 1, but get as many bonus points along the way. So for teams like you mentioned, K19, Execute, doing a really good job putting themselves in the mix with the lead that the top teams have so far, and we will see that when we go to the overall, just how much of a lead that is. But with that lead, it's pretty unlikely that they're going to be able to break into like the top 3 positions there, but they can gather some points here from this first phase, and then we'll see what happens in phase 2, phase 3, if we get some really big reshufflings. If you remember, in the spring, we didn't have a lot of shuffling on like the top couple of spots, but that doesn't mean that that is something that we should expect as a guarantee for this season.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it. We're hinting at it. There you go. There's the overall. Stream Slayers was a big surprise for a lot of us here in the first 3 days, as they're currently being able to be there within the first place. They've been able to frag out. But when we talk about frags, I feel like YKG currently leading in regards to elimination points, 91 elim points. And I think in a bit we'll be able to see why it's such a heavy fragging team. But you were mentioning, I mean, this top 3 teams are currently just running away with it. But you know what? Execute and them might have a chance. Ace of Spades has fallen off a bit.
Yeah, Execute and K19, both of these teams that outside of the shining glory that is Extreme Slayers, YKG, and Hyper performing virtually every single day of this week so far, yesterday, seeing Execute and K19 both have close to 40-point days, it like still sort of like gives me hope and gives me a sign that they're also here to play, and you know, maybe they need just a little bit of a warm-up before they can really get into the mix. But I'm definitely going to be seeing if they can like really continue to bite at the heels of a team like and Hyper specifically, because yeah, they're in the mix and there is a 50-point gap between them in 4th place. But there's also like a notable gap between them and the top dog. So it's possible that Hyper, who have been kind of a little inconsistent compared to the previous season, they could kind of swing back the opposite way and really allow teams like Execute, like K19, or even Ace of Spades, because they're still up there as well, to like really overtake them potentially by the end of this first phase.
Yeah, anything can happen here at the PMPL NA, right? And especially with Hyper, we have seen a much more aggressive Hyper, especially from day 2 all the way to day 3. We've seen Koi with some insane plays by himself, not really reflecting on the stats from him, but he has been able to set his team up for success, as we're able to see yesterday, especially on an Erangel play. Just absolute beautiful play out of Koi. Now, there's a team that I actually want to point out here in the first page, and I tried to hint at it earlier. Ace of Spades. This team, we really haven't seen much out of them since they got their chicken dinner with 20 elims the first day. Day 2 was a little bit consistent, but yesterday it was absolutely horrible. Their best placement was a 9th finish and only 1 elim, given though that we're able to get at least 11 elims for the day yesterday. But if they continue on this trend, I feel like they're just going to keep going down this leaderboard, as we're seeing now Puppeteers and 412 Nomads. They do have a chicken dinner as well.
Yeah. Now, the one advantage of the fact that we have these top 3 players that are performing so well, it means that they're not sharing the points as much with everyone else. So for a team like Ace of Spades that had a poor day yesterday, it wasn't punished on the leaderboard quite as much as it would have been if you don't have Extreme Slayers, YKG, and Hyper really popping up. But here's going to be the second half, and you can continue to see how in this middle section especially, basically until you get down to 16th place, it's quite close. It's not until that gap between 14th and 15th and 15th to 16th that we see like more gaps really appear. So for Canadian Eagles, BOPE Esports, they're 13th, 14th, right? They're not that far away from being on the top half of this overall rankings, and we're only 3/5 of the way through this first phase. So just like K19, just like Execute, there's a possibility for a couple of these teams to really have a sort of a more dark horse underdog success moment here.
Yeah, and I think Canadian Eagles might be one of those teams that I'm going to be paying attention very closely today, because they started off quite well the first 2 days, and then day 3 they were non-existent as well. They just completely disappeared, so they could possibly make that push towards the top. And as you mentioned too, the points are just so close with everything. And as we go here towards the third page, I feel like a team that's everybody's expecting to at least start doing well here has to be PASSIONFRUIT Esports. They have such quality of players within that roster. We have already seen an improvement out of this team. I was getting a chance to talk to Sixless. They are currently happy with the way they are going in an uptrend, and I'm hoping that today there could be that team that ends up with maybe 40 points for the day. I feel like that would be huge for PASSIONFRUIT Esports.
It would be good, but more so than the leaderboard for PASSIONFRUIT, as well as a number of these teams that are at the bottom, especially the ones who haven't even broken 20 points, Skills of Mind and Speedfire. For them, if they could have a strong 40-point day, it's less about trying to chase those bonus points on this phase, but to get that momentum, that confidence built up for phase 2, where they can enter next week and be like, you know what, we saw what we can do on that one day. Ignore the other ones that were poor perhaps, and have that confidence and those intangibles that you need a team to perform, and especially in a battle royale. You know how it is when everything is happening around you. It's not another type of game where it's just like 2 teams facing off against each other. There are so many factors that go into this, and so you need to just make instant confidence based calls. And if you're down on the leaderboard, it's really hard to have that confidence to make the calls. But that's why you hear teams talk about like one good game is all that you really need to get a team back into the mix and getting all those cylinders firing.
Yeah, and at the end here of day 4 and day 5 for phase 1, I think you don't want to become a team that people start seeing as a feeder, because they will start hunting you down. I don't see teams maybe doing that for PASSIONFRUIT Esports just yet, but I can see them doing that for other teams like Skills of Mind, right? Speed of Fire. Those teams need to start being a little bit more careful. But we're talking about teams that actually performed really, really well yesterday, being able to make a huge jump up. I want to take a little bit of a deep dive into Execute on how they were able to progress from day 2 to day 3, because I feel like that's going to be quite a nice jump up in regards to eliminations. And you can see it right there. By the way, day 2 is going to be on your left side of the screen. Day 3 is going to be on the right side of the screen. And Cameron, 24 elims from the 17 and still being able to get it within like the same damage that they got for each day. Yeah, that's quite impressive for me.
It is. If anything, it just shows you the value of how important it is to confirm the eliminations, confirm the knocks that you get. 17, the damage that they put out there is more on day 2 than it was on day 3, but you don't get points from damage. You only get points if you're able to confirm those eliminations, 7 extra elimination points, and that is on top of what you're not seeing on your screen, which are the placement points that they were able to get day 3 compared to day 3. They had much more podium finishes on day 3, and eliminations obviously help for that, right? Eliminations, you get the point from the elimination itself, but then you also get further along the survivability aspect of then getting the placement points. So it's it's more, you know what I mean. Anyway, the point is confirm your knocks.
For a team that had like an average survival time after day 1 of like 12 minutes and 40 seconds, I think they're very happy with being able to at least get a chicken dinner and a third place finish there in day 3. We'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here on day 4, because they have been currently switching the roster. Kill switch has been coming in for Tensa, it's been coming in for Casper. We'll have to wait and see which roster they'll end up sticking with. But we're talking about players. I actually want to see which one are currently the best players out of the PMPL and NA Fall split so far, because you were hinting at it. Remix, I mean, that's one that comes to mind right away. Kindness as well. But I feel like we might actually get a surprise when we look at this top player so far, because could it just be... No, it's not. There you go. There is one player that's actually a big surprise for me, and that has to be Killjoy, considering that his team, Wall Street Bets Gaming, is currently in 12th place with 64 points. So for this man to be able to provide 22 points out of those 64 points, that is huge.
Yeah, 22 elims out of the 46 eliminations for Wall Street Bets. If you're ignoring placement and you're looking at just the actual combat itself, which is a good number for Killjoy, but it kind of, makes us ask, what is the rest of the team doing? Or are they just not mechanically up to par with what Killjoy is delivering? Or alternatively, is Killjoy kind of running off on his own? That's definitely something to keep I'm going to keep my eyes on that to see what it is to allow Killjoy to get these numbers, but not have that reflect in the points on the overall rankings for the team as a whole. But everyone else that's on this board right now, expected, right? Even Joey is making a little bit of a show here, right? Even though I got to give it to him, 24K. I told you guys in the spring, 24K, that was the real star player. I know Joey is the name, Joey is the face. 24K is the real star that you want to put all your chips behind, and he is up here head to head with Remix, fighting over that #1 spot in phase 1.
Yeah, and I feel like that's, in a way, it's a bit of a surprise that it's not Joey, but it's also not a surprise that it's 24K currently showing for YKG because of what you mentioned on the spring split, what we were able to see out of him, the plays that he was able to clutch up, and a player that I'm expecting to see at some point here in the future, especially if YKG continues to perform well, is going to be Fierce. I feel like even though it doesn't reflect here in the top 5 players, Fierce is a player that has been very clutch for YKG. The composure, the confidence that he has been playing with for the first 3 days, I love what I'm seeing out of him. The progression of skill too. It reminds me a lot of some of the early gameplay from Coops when he was at first a little bit shy and then he came into his own. I'm not saying that he might become Coops, okay? I'm just saying that I'm loving the progression that I'm seeing out of him. I mean, Remix, we're gonna have to give it to him. He's currently just doing some insane plays, whether it's utility, whatever the case might be. These are the top 5 players, and I'm very intrigued how Dez is gonna be in the future, because if Killjoy can stay, the rest of the roster from Wall Street Bets Gaming can start waking up and start helping him out and maybe supporting him in such a way. I think this will be a big push. Maybe they just need a Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner here for the PMPL. And I think that's what they might need. That
was good.
Yeah, thank you. But Wall Street Bets Gaming, please wake up. You have a player in the top 5.
So okay, what I want to say is that don't be too aggressive against them, because yes, they're in 12th place, but they're only 11 points away from Execute in 4th place. That's what I mean by the fact that the top 3 teams are sharing, they're sponging up so many of the points themselves. The gap between that middle section is very, very close. So they just need to, Wall Street Bets, or really any team in the midsection, just need to increase their output by like 10-15%, and they could easily skyrocket in the same way that we're applauding Execute and K19 for it as well. So I wouldn't ring the alarm bells on this being Killjoy and 3 dead weights just yet. It's not nearly that position.
He said it, not me. I'm gonna say that later.
Don't call it that. Don't clip that. Don't clip that
if it continues on. Okay, flip it and make sure you use that hashtag PMPLNA, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Twitter, or maybe share it on the Discord server as well. And while you're at it, let us know which teams you like us to flame here, or which teams you think need a wake-up call, because there's some at the bottom. I kind of mentioned them earlier. I'm not gonna mention them again. I want to see what they're gonna be doing here today, because skills of mine.
You mean skills of mid? Or speed fire to the bottom of the leaderboard? That one's not that great. We're going to have to work on that one.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll work it. You know what? Let's take a look at the schedule for today, because the maps are going to be changing. Last time you weren't here, we were able to see some Vikendi in the middle of the day. And guess what? We're going to be getting Vikendi. I know that's your favorite map for the second match. Erangel. And then my favorite, I love that we leave Sandhawk for last. Just absolute madness at the end.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, what's a better way to finish the day off than the chaos that is on Sandhawk? But yeah, no, it's the same map rotation. Double Erangel, Vikendi, Miramar, Sandhawk, all in the mix. But honestly, though, the only real change, the only real thing that I imagine makes a big difference in how these teams approach the day is where Sandhawk is in their rotation. In the way that you say all the time that it's useful for a reset. The other maps, Erangel, Vikendi, and Miramar, you might have your own little bit of a preference, but as far as where is it in the day, where is it in the rotation, you could take it or leave it wherever it is,
Yeah, and I mean, we do have Group E sitting out. So, you know what? Let's take a look at the participating teams and what the groups are currently at, just to refresh everybody's memory. I know we were here yesterday, but you know what? Some people need a refreshment. We can see there Ace of Space is going to be sitting out. Speed of Fire is going to be sitting out. BOPE Esports as well. Puppeteer, which I'm excited to see what Puppeteer is going to be bringing today. And I feel like BOPE Esports, yeah, we were mentioning all those teams toward the middle pack are very, very close in regards to points. But BOPE Esports, it seems that already has a chicken dinner. I would like to see a little bit more out of them because since day one, we really haven't seen much. Maybe yesterday we saw a 4th place finish. But after that, it's just a lot of 10th place finishes or above with 0 elims.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at how many chicken dinners they have versus how many placement points they have, BOPE is not the one that I would really want to focus in on. Ace of Spades. But yes, Group A, B, C, and D are the 4 groups that are going to be entering the very opening Erangel of the day. So we do get, of course, the 3 teams that are at the top in their mix at the very beginning. We'll see if that momentum for them carries forward, or if, you know, someone puts a banana peel out there, if someone spills some pearls on the catwalk and causes them to slip. Who knows? We'll see.
I'll be happy to see. We have seen one team get either 3 wins or 2 wins. I can't wait to see which team is going to be the surprise team here for today. You got any? I'm going to put you on the spot, Cameron. You got any guesses?
Oh, no.
Any wishes?
No. We'll see where the first chicken dinner goes, and then I can make a guess after that.
Okay, all right. I believe Hyper might be able to get it. You know what? Let's send it to Hot Jukes and Sute. Let's see maybe which ones they think is going to be getting 2 or 3 chicken dinners today.
Who do I think is going to get 2 to 3 chicken dinners today? That is a good question. You know who I'm going to answer? I'm going to answer Passion Fruit Esports, baby.
Ooh,
okay? And the reason why I'm only saying it for one reason. And that's Juancho. All right? I talked to Juancho a little bit earlier, and he said, you know what? No more tomfoolery. No more messing around. How many eliminations am I getting per match? And I told him to his face, I said, I want 30 on the day. 5 per match. Okay?
5 per match. Wow.
5 per match. That's what he said. He said bet. You said bet. So I was like, okay. All right. Let's see it, baby. I want to see it. Hopefully we could see Papa Juancho pop off today. What about you?
I mean, if Juancho's saying he's gonna get serious, must mean something. Because Juancho's usually like the lighthearted like comedian on a team.
Yep,
He's
chilling.
always jolly. Just man, if he's gonna go serious mode, then we'll see. And we're about to see as we head into the first game. Personally, for me though, Hot Jukes, I gotta give it to Execute.
All right.
I feel
like the pick.
you know, like, and I love your Passion Fruits pick as well. If it wasn't Execute, I would say Passion Fruits. You know, both of these teams kind of like lower in the standings, even though Execute shot up quite a bit. Still really far away from 3rd place because of that gap, though. But both teams on an upward trajectory since yesterday. And I hope that's going to continue, and either of these 2 teams pick up some chicken dinners.
I agree. I want to see it. You know, Execute, I think, showed us some life yesterday. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Passion Fruit, in my eyes, still haven't. So I'm just listening to the words of Juancho and hoping to see it here today. I mean, I think this is what I like about long-form tournaments, especially PMPL North America, is because we always see teams develop, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always see them develop little by little. I'm gonna say this once, and I've said this 1,000 times. The thing that always crushes North America more than any other region is the fact that these teams split up and change rosters every PMPL. That's the stab to the heart. As a matter, and the reason why I say this is because while I was in Saudi Arabia, I got to talk to Sertani, who was the coach for Vampire Esports, which is the team, by the way, for anybody that didn't watch that.
Oh, they dominated.
They won almost $700,000 in a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's some good cheddar. That's a lot of cheddar, right? And I would love for one day to see it, and a team actually take some of that money back home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to him and I said, hey, what do you feel about, you know, roster swap as a coach of the best team right now, right, in the world, in this side, right?
Yeah.
Which one, you know, give me some advice as far as what your perspective is on actually swapping players, because he did before this tournament, did swap a player. He said something that I was just like, was music to my ears. He said specifically, the only time that you swap a person is when they have the inability to change. You know, if they do something wrong, you tell them, you coach them, you try to make some changes with it. If they have a good personality, if they have that drive, they're going to be hungry to make those adjustments.
Right.
Now, if you go and you tell them 10, 20 times and you cannot see any change in that person, then it's time to talk about, all right, maybe it's time to go ahead and bring somebody else and try someone else out, right?
I see.
But other than that, you stick with that person, you put on that work, and you get it done.
Talking about getting it done, BULUC and Butterfly Effect trying to get something done here, and I have something to add on to that right after this fight, Jukes. So hold that thought. The illusion here on the side, Butterfly Effects trades back and forth, but BULUC are at a, oh no, the rest of the BULUC team popping up here. Starting off hot, Jukes. Is it down to a 1v1?
Let's see. Yep, BULUC shot to 1v2. D going down. So BULUC CHABTAN, yeah, getting it better of them. And this is Butterfly Effect getting into a hot drop situation once again and getting punished. But what were we saying before, though?
So many times they've been in hot drops. So you were saying about the coach, right? His opinion on roster swaps, roster changes, and he said you should only change if a player doesn't seem like they're going to change, right? You tell them like 10, 20 times nothing changes, and if they don't have that drive, in my opinion, I feel like NA has a lot of drive. And one reason for that is because we see the same names over and over and over. These players aren't giving up. And they're just constantly wanting to compete and play the game. If that doesn't speak drive, I don't know what else does. Because if you're in a region that's, you know, one of the weaker regions and, you know, sometimes gets made fun of, you know, the, oh, haha, NA, but you still continue to show up to practice, to scrims, to these tournaments day in, day out, that's drive, Jukes.
I agree.
That is wanting it. So, I mean, the drive is there. It's just the infrastructure, staying together as a team. That is, and you're 100% correct, one thing that's severely lacking.
Yeah, it just shows an inability to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? With a person. Sometimes I see here in NA, it's like you see one player just go crazy gunner, and you think that, all right, you know what? We're just going to swap out our weakest gunner with this one, and it's just going to make everything better. It doesn't. Now, you know, when it comes to Vampire, they had a tight-knit team, right? They had a tight-knit team. They won, right? PMWI in 2022. And then you go and you see the work that they put in afterwards. Even then, they were like, you know what? There's one player in particular that's not adapting. Let's go ahead and swap him out. Let's bring Tony K into the mix, you know?
Yeah, Tony K. Oof, that guy.
What a pickup, right? And then you see them dominate PMWI once again. But, you know, the lengths that they go to cut a player, right, from a championship team isn't easy, you know?
No.
You really have to see something in the new player as well as see the inability of change from one. So here at NA, I think a lot of the times, you know, they have a bad day or even a good one, and they're like, you know what? Let's just a new player is going to be like a magic sauce. You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna some secret stuff that's going to change it. It's not a magic fix, and I don't think very rarely we actually see it work out. So I think, you know, just putting in that time with that same roster, committing to them, unless you don't see a change, that's, I think, that's the rule for success, in my opinion.
Yeah, speaking about like just slapping together as like a group of star players, I think that was the Knights at one point, right? When the Knights hit one of their final iteration forms, when they brought together all the superstars, they did really well, don't get me wrong, but then it fell short. And what happened, Jukes? Instead of sticking together, like for another year, going back at it, you know, working on that synergy a bit more, they just split.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then Coop said, you know what? See ya, NA. I'm going international, Mr. Worldwide.
I mean,
overall,
you can't blame Coops.
Yeah, overall,
Anyone
great
should
decision
take that.
for him.
Yeah,
yeah,
anyone should take that opportunity.
Absolutely, you know. So I want to see some teams in NA develop, keep those squads, and we have some big names coming up because we do. We have some star players. I think, without a doubt, all of them have the gun skill. I was talking about it. We were talking about it before, right? PASSIONFRUITs, they have all the gun skill. They do. You know, this is a very just mismatched roster, though, right? They just brung one player from here, one player from there. Sixless comes out. Yeah. And so when you have a new roster and you see it from their play style, they just look like 4 individual gunners doing their own thing.
You can tell nothing's working or meshing.
Yeah, and at this level and higher, that's not going to work out. You're just going to get punished by squads that are able to cover each other, work together, and the thing is, let's be real. When it comes to those international stages, these teams have played together, worked on their synergy together for over 2 years plus.
Yep.
And they live together in the same gaming house. So they see each other every day.
Too.
And that's a massive, we don't really talk about that enough, but I mean, they live together in the same gaming house. So if you have a problem with the player, you can't just talk smack to them on Discord and leave, like here in NA, you know? You got to see that person. You got to see that person, at dinner time. So, and, while they're practicing, they have a coach watching all over their play, too. So, I mean, NA has a lot in order to, I think, reach that stage. It's not impossible, though, but it takes a group of 4 or 5 people that are willing to go ahead and put in that work. And I'm hoping to see that here as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say my faith. I'm putting my marbles with YKG when it comes to that situation in particular, because I know the players of YKG personally. Like, I haven't met them IRL, but I know their personalities, and that's a team of really driven players that are all very humble and willing to put in the work. And I'm sure if things go wrong for them, they're the team, in my opinion, that would tough it out longer than any of the other NA teams and stick together. So we'll see. We'll see. They're doing better and better, too, each split. So let's see if that improvement continues as the next circle does shift over to the east, Jukes. This is going to be a doozy. We got water in the mix, the north, south, east. It could go anywhere across those bridges.
Yes, sir, it can. This is always a tough one because you like to see a lot of teams kind of try to stay as close to that water as they possibly can in case that zone decides to shift north or south. So that's a good way in order to hedge your bets. But still, this is going to be a pretty tough zone. Let's see how they decide to play. You can see Skills of Mine, who have a lot of work to do here in this lobby. They are on the rotation, and they get caught out by Skyline. This is what we're talking about, driving, even driving on rotations. You got to make sure that distance is close enough to where you can actually cover each other in those kind of situations.
Yeah, I've seen these rotations from like higher level teams when they stick closer together, that player will still get shot out, but the rest of the team will stop and return fire. And typically the player that gets shot out by MEZEXIS right here, right? MEZEXIS team is split. They're just holding a wide angle. And so sticking together usually works out as that Tensa forces it back up. And Kill Switch is close by. Execute doing a similar rotation, but definitely sticking a little bit tighter together. The support is there for him to get out.
And let's see what Fate's gonna do. The IGL of Team Execute. Keep an eye out here on this hill, looking to spot where their next location's gonna be. And it looks like he does have an idea as he's starting to send it.
Making those quick rotations. There's a lot of zone priority happening in this circle. I know it's circle 2, but man, this circle may as well be circle 4 or 5, and not because of the size, but because of how important it is already to get a strong position. And Jukes, let me just point out real quick, when we're talking about strong positions, NHyper has the best position, hands down. Dead center,
yes.
controls a bridge, can move north or south, and I don't know how, but NHyper always finds themselves in these great positions.
They're chilling in Rozhawk, so they got nothing to worry about right now. Just have to worry about keeping an eye on teams coming on into them. And you can see MEZEXIS sending a scout, and that's going to be Baton of all people, a huge fragger for their team. Done and dusted. It's always tough to see a scout get knocked out like that.
There we go, NHyper in the center. They did lose one off drop, though, so a little bit of a drop mishap, kind of a hot drop. Both teams were going for cars as a new circle pops up. Keeps the north, keeps the south pretty 50-50 in terms of which way it's going to go. This is going to come down to a coin flip as these teams prioritize the north or south right now.
Yes, indeed. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the play is going to be in this situation for these squads. You can see Trex trying to make the best out of nothing here. As one player's knocked and he's stuck in the blue zone. MEZEXIS Crow, barely gets that first aid off. You can see him doing some nice little blind fire taps, saying, you know what, I don't need to scope in. Hip fire, baby, from this range all day long.
I mean, if you're putting shots into smoke, you don't know where the enemy is anyways. Cross your fingers and your hip fire might be able to hit them. Crow, he's gonna pop back up. Sights ADS this time. And lands one, lands 2 shots in, but not enough. MEZEXIS gonna have to run in the blue. Executes close by, trying to gatekeep this Fate. Gets lit up, almost goes down. Backs up smartly. He loses his vehicle though, because it's parked a little bit too close to the enemy. And Fate running for his life. There's a support fire right there you can see on that mini map. So good support from the rest of the team. Fate should be able to get the cover to get out now.
And let's see what Fate is going to do now. Execute holding that edge, but Fate far away from the rest of his squad. I wonder if they're going to come back and try to help him, but...
Oh, definitely. I think they'll be able to.
They definitely should, but it looks like they're just chilling right now. So maybe Fate's going to have to find his own way in. As we look, Hyper is going to spot YKG. YKG does make it on into Rozhawk, so they are going to be sitting right next to the 3rd place squad of Hyper. Team right below them, so literally and physically, you can see BULUC CHABTAN making a very bold rotation. And with BULUC CHABTAN, I believe most of their players are eliminated. Nope, actually they have their all 4 up with 4. That's right. They eliminated the squad of Butterfly Effect early, so a nice rotation for them.
Yeah, circle's closing in. Teams are going to have to make their next rotation soon. One of the players of Execute gets caught out. Looks like he was kind of on a solo mission to pick up some points. I don't think he's going to get revived. Yeah, Blue's already closing in. Next circle's about to pop out. Crow's doing whatever he can to keep the MEZEXIS dream alive. Maybe some more placement points. It is heating up. Even split of teams almost, I'd say, on the north and south side. A bit more congested on the north. That's going to change very soon as these teams move on in.
Hey, Sixless getting some eliminations in the feed. We saw that. That's going to knock Skills of Mind. Going to put them in pretty much some big trouble. Let's see what the Canadian Eagles can do. Canadian Eagles finally avoiding some hot drops. So we're seeing them here in the late game. Next zone does go on up, and it is going to go to that north side. So that is actually a huge rotation for both SLR and for PASSIONFRUIT.
Yeah, an even bigger one for Execute. I mean, I guess they could inch in on the west side, but with Rozhawk still partly in zone, you don't want to play on that south side north across the river. You have no cover, and the people in Rozhawk are going to be raining bullets into you. We'll see what the teams in Rozhawk do decide to do. If they will rotate early, it looks like Hyper was trying to as a fight breaks out, and just like that, Excuse is gone. They are out of their Wall Street bets, showing signs of life here.
Yes, sir, indeed. So Wall Street Bets picking up some nice points. You can see SLR holding this position. This is one of the best positions on this side of the map. You can get so much coverage, especially right behind them, and they are holding it for now. So let's see if they're able to put that pressure onto Wall Street Bets. They have all the sight lines. You know, all they got to do is get close and throw some utility into there, and Wall Street Bets should be done for. But SLR a little bit slow on the foot to try and get them wiped out here, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, SLR are being cautious right here. They're making sure there's no more teams behind them before they really commit to putting in this pressure. It's a time balance thing. They have time to work with, as you can see, 2 minutes before the zone starts closing in once more.
I just don't understand why they're being so slow on this. I mean, Wall Street Bets smoked themselves out. They have no sight lines. This should be an easy push. Just run up there, throw all the util you have onto them, and take them out. I mean, yeah, you do have Execute on the other side. That does make it a little bit tricky, but this is what happens when you take too long. Like, they could have been... Wall Street Bet should have been done and dusted, easily, in my opinion.
Would get messy potentially as PASSIONFRUITs. This is the northern edge on next to the gas station. They're trying to hold this spot down. Sixes with 3 eliminations already. Getting revived. Zuko laying into suppressive fire, spraying everywhere. No shots connecting, but they're keeping the Canadian Eagles' heads tucked down. That's the main job of that suppressive fire. Now Canadian Eagles are going to try and disengage. Most likely, PASSIONFRUITs will pick up 1 or 2, if not both, as they drive through. Drago goes down. Juancho getting a nice spray, and he's going to keep going. Spins out the buggy. Shots more.
Got him.
And there's that drive-by. That's 2 quick picks for the side of PASSIONFRUITs. This PASSIONFRUITs team, you called it. They're looking pretty serious here.
Zuko catching that last one there. That's going to put 5 eliminations, actually, for PASSIONFRUIT. All right, looks like they are starting to get a little serious here. They do have a good position in this next zone as well. So let's see how they finish, though, right? They got the interception. Can they run it back to the
They're going to have to push into another team if the zone does shift south of them up the hill. That's going to be somewhat of a tough push for them as SLR. Well, here's that push you wanted, Jukes. It is not going well whatsoever. SLR loses 2 players. I think they did get third party by Execute from the distance, and that's why you said it. They should have done it earlier, not later, because Execute, they're all set up now.
Took too long. Wall Street Bets was not set up. They had themselves completely smoked out. They could have easily just walked up, used their man advantage, throw down all those utility into those buildings, and there's nothing that Wall Street Bets could have done. But because they took so long, they've lost 2 players and are in a tough spot. Got to be able to make those decisions when you see them. Let's see who's going to end up winning this, because now Execute are very set up on this position. They got pretty good sight lines all over the place. SLR's spot is pretty good defensively, but they have to leave it to go down into this open field. So let's see how they decide to play it. And Hyper taking the Wizard Tower right here. A good decision. Yep. This is one of the best spots in this circle, that's for sure. They're going to have a lot of sight lines everywhere.
They took that spot like a zone ago, like when everyone was busy trying to, you know, rotate in and getting stuck on each other. And Hyper, they just know their rotations and priorities so well. They do only have 3 though. One team you didn't mention that might also be in a great position, K19. They have the whole eastern side covered, and they get that huge ridgeline to work with. So K19 might come up huge in this match as well. They have 0 eliminations for now, but they could get more as Kindness. The M4 long range tabs, Jukes. I was telling you yesterday, you do not want to fight in Hyper long range. Kindness, just an absolute turret up there, nailing those shots.
And let's see. I mean, Kindness from that long range is just ridiculous. He's proven it time and time again. Probably the most deadly squad from long range is Hyper here in North America. These guys don't miss, and you can see that. Look at him starting to keep some sight lines on. Killswitch barely missing his gaze for now, and it looks like we're going to see Killswitch get into it with QWERTY from the scope of Kindness. Thank you for giving us that beautiful sight. Meanwhile, Rin
taking out the wheels.
Some pop shots, trying to, take out some, take out their util, take out their vehicles. That's how you get it done there. Which team will win the match is the question. You guys put it in the chat right now. Myself and Cameron Davis score with YKG. I should have picked PASSIONFRUIT though, because after hearing things from Juancho, but YKG's position is too juicy to pass up on for me. It's too juicy.
I think that's only because they're YKG as well, right? If there was a different team in YKG's position, I would be like, it looks kind of dicey, but YKG being in that position, it works great for them. They're on the edge of zone, which is their forte, so they can work and fight their way in. So I'm really curious to see how YKG plays that position from here on out. As other teams trying to make their rotation in, Lotus Esports, they had control of this top hill the whole time, so now they're just trying to hold it down. PASSIONFRUIT's slowly creeping up. Haven't made too much noise since taking out Canadian Eagles, but they're biding their time, trying to get the info.
Uh-oh, here goes Fetty. Fetty trying to get some intel right there with that buggy.
He's got to be careful. I like the way he's doing it, though. Oh, a little bit too much of an overextension. There's no need to go that far up the hill, or down the hill, should I say.
Tire.
He's going to get punished for it. He's running. Goes prone. Stays alive for now.
Stays alive for now, but it looks like Joey finds one of the players from 412 out. HH24 getting knocked by BULUC. Okay, so PASSIONFRUIT definitely starting to turn things up. Lotus are completely pinched right now between PASSIONFRUIT and Wall Street Bets. So they got to play this very carefully. There goes the 412 Nomads. They are out of there as Fetty, losing that buggy, is stuck out of his position big time. Candy catch Ji-Woon though, and had another point on the board. Great teamwork from Lotus.
Yeah, good smoke coming down. Yeah, Lotus is really holding this down. Looked a little bit dicey, but they're able to keep up the pressure, keep up the support with one another. Nade comes in, does not knock the Lotus Esports player, so he'll stay alive. Ji-Woon just doing what he can to avoid the nades, but they consistently rain on in.
You want to make sure you keep up some of that util towards the end, though. You don't want to just throw it out all blind. Ji-Woon did get beat up by that nade. Throws a little one in return. Let's see if Fetty can get this one on point. He chunks it. A little too short there. Yeah, threw it directly into the smoke. Now he sees that vehicle. Is he going to decide to chunk it past? He does a little bit, but it's going to miss the mark as well.
Yeah, Jiwoon just continuously backing up out of range of those nades. The circle did condense just ever so slightly right into the middle, so everybody's just crunching in slowly but surely. We'll see some more engagements here, some knocks here and there. Fate gets knocked, a return knock by Killswitch, which will finish the Wall Street Bets team. So Execute still hanging on in there with just 2 players. Can Killswitch get that revive? We'll see. We'll see indeed. Lotus Esports still having the zone. And here comes YKG making their way, sweeping across the edge of the zone, taking numbers where they can.
And let's see exactly what 24K is going to do to hold this position. You can see him looking for Execute. YKG holding the south ridge line. If the zone goes north, they're going to be in really big trouble. Only way they're getting up there is with the M4s on their backs. And you can see Joey taking a little dip here. A little fun in the sun before things start heating up. BULUC CHABTAN's definitely the thing that they have to watch out for, though. Kindness getting a nice knock, though, onto Instajet. Yeah, they are. They should be able to get that res with this ridge line right here.
Yeah.
But, man, dude, then Hyper, one of the worst squads to go up against when they have central position and sight lines. These guys just don't miss.
They do not, but he's running low on ammo. He's only got 90+ shots left, and, well, doesn't matter, because Koi, he can hit those too, getting a knock right there onto the BULUC player. And Hyper is just fending off multiple teams, 360 all around. You got to be careful, though, of the next circle. If one of them gets knocked, another team could try and full send. They don't have vehicles, though, on the south side. It's going to make it very difficult for them to cover that long stretch of terrain.
Let's see as Koi is looking to put some more points on the board. And Hyper only with 1 elimination so far, but that is totally fine. They have a dominant position, especially if this next zone comes to them. They're going to rack up the elimination points. Joey getting some nice shots, though. Covers himself with that rock on the other side. Almost gets stolen, though. Yeah. And he says, nope, I am getting this confirmation. And I believe that's K19 putting in some work on the BULUC CHABTAN as well. This is the worst part of competitive PUBG Mobile when the zone is not favoring you and you got 2 or 3 pro teams just staring at your direction.
Yeah, as speaking about zone, the next zone did pop up and it just goes pretty much almost dead center once again. The east side did shift over a little bit, so K19's got to make a move. Same with PASSIONFRUITs, but in Hyper, they are sitting pretty in that tower. YKG's got a little bit of the zone to work with. I don't know if they have viable cover without having to push, but PASSIONFRUITs, they need to make the push, and they're doing it. Sixes rams into the compound, sitting in that buggy for a second longer. Fishy throws down smokes, throws down nades. They already got the opening onto Lotus. Where's the follow-up? Where's the execution? Here comes the PASSIONFRUITs team.
And here they go. PASSIONFRUIT finally taking the fight with Lotus. Wancho does go down to Fishy. Almost takes out the whole squad. He's in trouble. Where's the rest of the team? They got to get here quick. He's going to get the thirsts. Fishy. This is just a little bit of a mistake from PASSIONFRUIT. Giving them too much breathing room, and they're going to lose Zuko in the process.
You say a little bit of a mistake. You know what? I'm just glad they didn't all run in there and just get 1v4'd. I like that hustle by BULUC. He realizes, hey, we need to cover our backs. We made a lot of noise. We got a lot of knocks in here. Maybe guy can hold off a flank or push in. Unfortunately, he doesn't make it in time. He does, in a way, though, with his death, buys some time for the rest of the PASSIONFRUITs to restabilize. So good job by BULUC. It may not seem like he did much, but I think he had the right idea, and that was a great heads-up play.
Beautiful heads-up play here. This Juancho is still alive, though, and this is the man that said he was going to do it. 5 eliminations per match. How many does he have? 1. Rest of the team, though, pop it off. Pop it off a D. Maybe he has been giving the team the battle cry. You know what I'm saying? His hype up the rest of the squad. His kindness goes down to Instachat. Here comes YKG. It's just Rin. Rin, good luck.
Oh, man. 1v4 against YKG, the best close-range team. It's good luck. You have a DBS, but I don't think that's going to be enough. He doesn't even manage to get 1. YKG just putting on a clinic, showing everyone how to play the zones from the edge. And it don't matter if you have to fight uphill, fight into in Hyper, they get it done.
You know what? YKG, just such a dominant force. Why I could not resist to pick him. PASSIONFRUIT, honestly showing us something today, right? They have had a great game so far, tons of eliminations, but you could definitely see the difference in just synergy, right? Just a couple little mistakes here and there that cost them 2 players. If they would have played this right, by all intents and purposes, they should have all 4 up. But you know what? We still got to give improvement when we see it.
I mean, still credit to them. It was a 4v4 when it started. So the fact they won, I'm already happy for them. As Sixless does get taken out, PASSIONFRUIT's not in the zone, so trying to make some smoke paths, trying to set up car cover. It's a little bit too late for that. Juancho maybe snake out a second place if he stays alive long enough, and that should be his plan as YKG slowly taking up more and more ground. K19, this was a team that I said could win the match, as well with their position, and they're making it into the top 3. They did lose HH, unfortunately, earlier on, so they're going to be at a man disadvantage.
YKG have the numbers. They're snaking it, though, and they're snaking it a little separately. They got to watch out to not get caught by K19. So if they're able to play this good, Quacho with the nade on the 24K, that's going to hurt things. That's going to hurt them big time, because now Chico probably is going to try to back it on up and go for the rest. Yep, that's what he's going to go do. And that's going to eliminate how many Quacho getting caught out by Skur, though. Not much you could do when you're pinned between 2 major squads. Right now, the fight is even if K19 decides to press, but they don't know that.
Yeah. By the time they do press, I think the revive's going to come off. New zone is a no zone as it goes straight dead to the middle. Of course, YKG has the advantage here. They have a little bit of a sloping high ground angle to work with. They have the man advantage, and they're closer to this current center of the zone. So K19 is going to have to move first, and they have less space to work with. And, well, YKG, they have a lot of nades left.
Let's see if they're going to go ahead and start using them any moment now. I suggest trying to get closer. That's why you see the smokes coming. They realize that K19 is completely pressed up against the zone. So they have all the room to work with. This should be an easy YKG win, as long as they don't make the mistake of letting K19 breathe at all. And you can just see, Tuki trying to get off a first aid. Not going to be able to do it. Joey with the laser beam. Yeah, K19 is just completely stuck in a tough position. Down goes one more.
Yeah.
Trip, last one up. Trying to make a hero play, but YKG is not going to allow it. YKG with the first chicken dinner on the day.
Making it look so easy. It should not be that easy for YKG, but hey, when it comes to this lobby, they just put their foot down and stamped everyone out. Great game for YKG, and I sound like a broken record, man. YKG, edge of zone. They're not in the middle. They just sweep this way, sweep that way, push in together as a team. They just get it done constantly. And Issa Jack coming in with the most eliminations.
Most eliminations, but look who's someone we haven't seen on here in a hot minute with the most damage. Little 6 here, Sixless showing up here, and the longest limb as well. I mean, got to give it, of course, to YKG. This team is deadly. I mean, you said it earlier. If I had to put the house on a team that I felt we're going to have the most synergy, that can actually get it done in the biggest stages, I would give it to them. I'm excited to see PASSIONFRUIT showing up here, though. Putting up some numbers like they said they would. Now, I hope this is the start, not the finish, Azute.
And I just want to say, shout-outs to Valak. I think Valak, he doesn't play too often on the roster from what I've seen in the last couple of days, but that heads-up play for him to run back out of the compound because he knows a third party is about to happen, I think that's a lot of heads-up. And I think the team needs a second player that can think heads-up. Sixless, he's trying to micromanage a lot, and he has the game knowledge down, but they just need that second player, Jukes. And Valak, I think he makes a difference on the team.
Gotta agree. Heck, 30 seconds earlier, he could have been able to do it, but you gotta love the play. Gotta love the play, guys. Still a lot more plays and a lot more action coming up just a bit right after these highlights.
YKG was like, you know, we haven't really won since day one, Cameron. And since you're here, they were like, let's show off for Cameron a little bit. Let's get a win to start off today.
I got the win too, baby. I predicted them correct. Let's go. That's a very difficult area of the map to play around. So even like my prediction of YKG was not a very confident one, just because all the different desperate parts. And then of course NHyper is like tower in the middle. But listen, YKG, they just keep coming out with the wins. They keep coming out with the plays.
And one of the things that they've been doing so well, as we're going to be looking at the match rankings here, the out of the circle, that circle border play that they've been able to do, they don't care who it is. They're able to take on fights, and they're able to eliminate people so easily. By the way, a big surprise, actually not a big surprise for me, because I was kind of calling them out, and I was hoping that they would have this kind of day here today. PASSIONFRUIT Esports starting super strong, 16 points for them. K19 was almost able to continue on their winning streak. Last time they played, they ended up getting a win. If they would have won this, it would have been 3 in a row for them. They're not going to be mad, though, because they were able to get 10 points in another team. They're at the top. Execute. We were talking about them earlier. Consistency out of them.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, especially K19, Execute, consistency for both of them, and Hyper's up there as well. Extreme Slayer's going out super early. That alongside YKG. God, there's so many acronyms in this game. With YKG winning this title, YKG are now going to be in first place on the overall leaderboard. And so this like back and forth that we've been seeing the past couple of days, Extreme Slayers are going to be hoping for a confident bounce back going into the next game, because when your next rival gets double-digit points and you end up with 0, that is not a good feeling.
And on top of that, I mean, NHyper ended up getting some points too in regards to placement points, and I think we saw them get at least 2 of the Elim points too. That's a team that's trying to catch up Extreme Slayers. Remember, after tomorrow, we are going to be having some bonus points coming into play, and that's when things start getting a little bit more spicy. But for Extreme Slayers, you know what? I'll give them a break. They did get caught in a rotation, sandwiched between 2 teams, so you get a break. But I was hinting at it, PASSIONFRUIT Esports. I would actually like to take a look at some of their player stats, because as Sute mentioned, Valak did play. And by the way, this is the first time Valak is playing for PMPL and Nate full split. And you can see a big difference. He was subbing for Nate, which is great to see. I love seeing that Sixless was able to get those Ilims, Suko as well. It wasn't just Juancho. It seemed like a collective team, and the synergy seemed to be there too, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's weird to see a team perform better when Nate is not there anymore, because he was a really strong player for when he was on the Panthers last split. But in a battle royale in PUBG, team chemistry is, I don't want to say that it's more impactful than other titles, but with what I was talking about earlier about the confidence calls and like the instantaneous decision making, team chemistry is incredibly powerful and incredibly valuable. And you know, maybe they were just trying to figure out what are the 4 players that we can fit together that work as a well-run unit. And it's only 1 game. You don't want to take too much out of it, but these numbers are looking really good, especially as you said with Sixless really putting up those numbers. 4 eliminations, 644 damage.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, I mentioned it too, Suko being able to put up 596 damage, being able to back it up with 3, and for Valak, for this being his first game, in a way, this would have been his warm-up game, some would say. 526 damage, 3 Ilims, those are not bad. Now, I'm pretty sure his teammates are currently looking at him and saying, can you please continue to do that? And the reason why I was mentioning synergy is because in the previous days, we have seen Nate or Sixless, whoever it might be all over the place, not really be with the team. And in this match, we finally got a chance to see what the team is like when they're actually staying together, when they're able to take on those fights together as a 4-man squad. And ultimately, this showcases that this team does have those skills. This team does have that hype behind them. They just need to work on that synergy a little bit more.
Yeah. This part of the map is one that you kind of required to stay together, because like I said, that sort of big openness that we saw on that hilltop, there aren't really even that many opportunities for a team to set up in a more spread out position. So we'll see if PASSIONFRUIT, if they're going to commit to this more pack oriented play going forward, or maybe sort of go back into the bad habits that you're alluding to right now, or maybe they're finding a really good balance between, you know, having different positions but being close enough that they're able to support each other in a better way.
Well, you know what? I am hearing that Vikendi is going to be ready. I know that's your favorite map. It might start becoming my favorite map. We'll have to wait and see. Let's let Hot Jukes and Sute take it away.
Hey, here we go. Let's take it away. Let's get it going here. We're heading right into Vikendi. And you know, what Cameron said, it's crazy to see Nate, you know, get dropped off because we've seen this guy go nuts all by his lonesome. You know, and sometimes, you're right, it's team chemistry. It's so many different things that can happen. And you know what? Sometimes it could just be luck, too. Sometimes you get some very fortunate zones. You know what the wild thing is like, I wish there could be like a docu-series on just the mental game of competitive PUBG Mobile. Because, you know, let's say if you have a team that just, like PASSIONFRUIT, they just get the zone, they swap the player, they get the zones a few times, and just get put in so good positions that even with the other player they would have dominated, but now they're dominating with the new one, all of a sudden they could just be like, that was the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is it. We found the team. We everything's going right now. And then that alone can force the players to do better than they've ever done before. So it's so crazy. It's so crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's so tough, especially in PUBG Mobile, right? There's so many variables. This isn't like, you know, your typical esports where it's like one team versus another on the same map with the same angles, same set. This is such a dynamic game. It's hard to, you know, figure out which player is better on your squad. And was it the player? Was it the zone? Was it just circumstance? And that's one thing I really love about the game, Jukes. It's just like the variables, so much to think about, so much to consider. Keeps everyone on their foot, especially, you know, the players. And you're essentially against, you know, you got your 4 and you're essentially against a 60-man lobby, you know, each match. And that's wild to really think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Very wild indeed. You got to be able to figure it out, though. And that's what it is. It's just process of trial and elimination, right? Trying new players, new synergy, new attitudes. So much to consider, you know, and to me, you want to know what I think is the hardest one, Zute?
Yeah. What's that?
The hardest one above all is clutch. You can never know if a player has that clutch factor. Scrims go around, they're crushing it, right?
Yep.
PMPL comes around, they're crushing it. Then come LAN time, fall apart. Can't handle the pressure of it, you know? And I think we've seen players do that, you know, quite often. So, yes, the more practice, the more time goes on, you do start to become accustomed to it, right? That feeling of anxiety in your chest of, oh, you know, am I gonna hit these shots or not? The shaking of the hand starts to get a little bit more still over time. But, you know, some players just, man, they have it born in them, and you never know until the time comes to play.
Yeah, it's people just have certain players just have that killer instinct, that confidence. You know, they play better under pressure, and that's a dime a dozen. So you gotta keep an eye out for those players. And the first circle, by the way, on Vikendi, Hot Jukes, around Castle. We had one yesterday that, you know, had Castle in zone for a while, and then in the late game it shifted off to the east. This time around, Castle's is in zone again. It's more towards the center, so it could happen, Jukes.
Yeah, come on, baby. I want to see it. Give us that castle finish. You know, we saw Dong, right, being the king of the castle last game. Last time we saw Vikendi. Hopefully we can see some more action here in this one, you know, and we do see puppeteers in the game. And look at that. As soon as I say his name, boom, he's right there.
Right there, indeed. Popping up like magic. You summoned him. And it's going to park in the garage. And look, puppeteers, they're right next to Castle again. I think that's just a spot that they really like. Of course, you know, drop priority. They're close to the Castle spot. It's center. There is another team already there, though. They're kind of split as you look at the screen. And hold that thought. SLR with the snowmobile. Not the snowmobile again. Oh, they lose 2.
Oh, goodness gracious. Losing 2 players just like that. SLR. They didn't play for a minute together, you know, just the synergy and just decision-making, I think, is where they seem to struggle a little bit. And the commitment, you know, it's always crazy because in this game, you got to take risks. You have to, especially with, you know, the point system the way it is. So the thing is timing for when to decide to take that risk is so important. Like, if you have to say, hey, let's do it. Let's do it right here and now. If you question for yourself, even for a second, that could be the difference of, you know, getting that entire squad wipe or getting taken out.
Gotta agree with that one. Speedfire on the screen. This is a team that we have not seen much of at all this whole week. Team that's, you know, definitely on the inexperienced side. You always want to see somebody pop off on one of these teams, right? Because that's all it takes sometimes. Just one player on a team that's struggling to pop off in one match, and it could revitalize the whole team. Fingers crossed for Speedfire that they could pull something like that off.
Yeah, let's see if they can. Let's see.
Uh-oh, Remix.
Uh-oh, Remix getting caught out here.
Oh.
Oh, and down goes Remix. That is the one player on your team you do not want to get finished here. I think he should be able to get behind that bridge, but trying to get to him.
Are they going to go for it? Mission Impossible?
Ooh, this is Mission Impossible. This is like literally start the theme song.
Yep. I mean, I'd go for it. Like, attempt it. It's not a good revive by any means, but it is Remix as Canadian Eagles. Hello, driving right in. BULUC just picking up so many rotational elimination points right now. They already got 2 earlier. They're about to pick up 4. Quinn, last one up. Can he do anything with that nade? Get some damage in, but I think he's just trying to put his teammate out of his misery right there.
Wrong house. Wrong house, Canadian Eagles. This is not the place that you want to park your car. And they are eliminated just like that. That, in my eyes, that's a 100% blind rotation. You know, you think that, oh, let's just go right here. It should be good. And
I mean,
it was not.
I think they smashed in ready to fight because they smashed in like together as a whole team. But you got to understand the layout of the compounds you're smashing into, right? There's better angles to smash from, and they just went straight into the thick of everyone and immediately got crossfired.
Immediately is the correct word here. We're going to see SLR trying to make something happen with their 2 remaining players. And it's important for them to kind of make themselves feel like they're a full squad because...
Yeah, shoot at everything.
If they... Nope, they know. They know. Wall Street Bets knows that they are separate, that they are lacking players, and here they come. They did get 2 knocks, so I got to give it up to that one player to get those 2 knocks, but... If
There's
you're
actually
XTZ, you gotta push
Speedfire.
this, right?
It was actually Speedfire that got
Speedfire.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
got 1 of the knocks, and SLR got 1 of the others. So XTZ, he doesn't know. He doesn't know 2 of them got knocked.
know. But then what are you doing though? You gotta go for it. You got no choice. You're done for it. They reset.
Yep.
Jump shot. Oh, it gets taken out there from Puppeteers. I believe that's what it was. So yeah.
Oh,
Super
third
laser
party?
reflex done. Oh, third party.
Speedfire. Here we go. We were just talking about them. Okay. Third-party action by Speedfire. Can they make it work? They're pushing in. I think it's a 4v3 situation. No, 4v2. Killjoy still knocked. Gotta keep it going, though. Can't slow down now.
Let's get it going indeed. I love to see this heat as we start to see some of the players from Speedfire actually on fire. That's on brand.
Yep.
Meanwhile, trying to go ahead and get rest. They're all in one room. That's dangerous.
Oh.
Yup, and they get punished for it. Clown and Jimmy go down with those 2 knocks. Wall Street Bets is coming in hot.
Yeah, Wall Street Bets is like, what are these guys doing?
What are you
They're not
doing?
pushing us. We'll push
What are you doing?
Oh no, a 2v4, Hot Jukes.
Wow.
That was a 2v4. That's why when they crashed in earlier and they got into that room, I was like, you gotta keep going. You can't slow down. And well, Speedfire missing the speed in their name. A little bit too slow there. They get eliminated.
Straight up punished, just like that. So we'll see what they do in some future matches. But, you know, a good start for some of these teams. Wall Street Bets was 6. BULUC CHABTAN was 6. You know, that's going to help them out regardless where they finish in this match. So job already a little bit finished, but not finished. You know what I'm saying? Job not finished. Let's see what Skyline can do.
Nope. Job done. Job's not done.
Job's not done.
In the famous words of Kobe.
Trip,
trying to make a play here. He's a solo, but he's got the sightlines. He's got the support. Tuki from off screen gets 1. Trip getting the other. Where's the follow-up from K19? Trip playing this so well, putting his back, you know, to his teammates' sightlines, really making it work. And that Molly.
got him!
No way!
Got him! He's on fire! that Everest on fire. And here goes the rest of the MEZEXIS squad.
I love this.
There is nothing they could do here. Tukey with the nade. Bye-bye.
Oh my god. Oh, third party.
Oh, third
From
party.
who?
That's PASSIONFRUIT.
Oh, okay. We're getting into the heat of things. K19 turning up. PASSIONFRUIT's also turning up. This is a great day for a PUBG mobile enthusiast to watch. Trip goes down. HH goes down. K19 looks so good, Jukes. And just like that, PASSIONFRUIT's come in and take the spotlight.
Hey, we may be in the icy tundra, but we're starting to heat up here. Let's get it going. Non-stop action. Crashes. Third parties. Here comes PASSIONFRUIT looking to finish what we saw K19 start. Some easy eliminations now on the board, but they don't have the intel, right? They don't realize how many players are up. They don't know these players are knocked, so that's why they're hesitating for everybody watching out there. I know we see it, but they don't. But now they know that Everest is knocked. Now it's time to go.
Go time indeed. It is Baton. Baton, I would say, is one of the deadlier players right there on MEZEXIS. They gotta be a little bit careful. He's got a nade in hand. It is a 1v4 though, but PASSIONFRUIT's, you know, gotta work on that synergy, make sure they don't lose a player. Sure, they could win this easily, but they don't want to lose a single player here, so they're biding their time, throwing more nades. Sixless getting closer, getting the info. I'm sure by now they could tell, okay, seems like it's only one player up.
Yeah, they have to know. They have to know. They are hesitating a little bit, but they're trying to play it safe. They did light up Aton there, and here they come. They still don't realize. They know one player, right? But they don't know if there's three more waiting. But here they come. DBS is in hand. Sixless pushing, checking every corner. Now they have to realize they're at the broken wall. Yep. Nice little free fire there. Zuko gets the thirst. And the finish. PASSIONFRUIT, 5 eliminations on today. This is back-to-back solid performances. Way better than we've seen in previous days.
Oh, you love to see it. It's going so well. And they're not even using Nate, right? We know Nate's got heavy gunfire. So it's like this PASSIONFRUIT's, there's a lot of potential, even with the current iteration. We were talking about it off screen for a little bit. Valak, you know, he's not usually a starter on the team. Last split, he was too busy with school, I believe. It was college. And I gave you the question, why is Valak not a starter? And that's the reason. But I think this player, Valak, he's got a lot of potential as well. Really good player and thinks fast on his feet.
Yes, he does. And you know what? All it takes is a couple things to go right to really just fire up your team. And let's see how it works out, right? How far can PASSIONFRUIT take this? You know what I'm saying? Now that they got a couple good performances under their belt, this could just literally light up the whole squad and say, you know what? We're ready to go. We're ready to put in some work. But they're going to have a lot of work to do here with this next zone shift. Where is it going to go? And we're going to, come on, take it to Castle. Take it down south. That's what we want to see.
Down south we go. Fingers crossed. Maybe. I think it's going to go north, though, because NHyper's north. And the circle just loves NHyper.
That's
yeah.
true.
We'll see. We'll see just in a second. And Jokes. This is not scripted. It is not scripted.
Not scripted. Man, I wish it was. I wish it was. I mean, I tell you what, Butterfly Effect wishes it was. They were big chilling down in Castle, and now they got to move their way up. That bridge is so dangerous. You know that Wall Street Bets has their eyes locked on it. So they're going to have to find a creative way to get into this next circle, maybe even going through that back bridge, rotating around. A lot of different possibilities. Meanwhile, you got YKG with some high ground.
Really high ground.
Really high ground. This is actually a really good spot right here at Mount Kresnik. And YKG with high ground coming off a chicken dinner is dangerous. And I'll tell you what, one team in particular that loves high ground is NHyper. So I'm not shocked to see them and not shocked to see two of the top teams trying to hunt down the same position.
Yeah, I don't think NHyper know this is YKG up here, though. I bet you if they had that info that it was YKG up there, NHyper would be like, okay, you can have it. As GK first gets a knock way far away onto Skills and Minds, nowhere close to this potential engagement right now. And I think the trap is sprung right here. Yep, Chico catches one, and confirmation about to go through. The second comes through, and NHyper is going to know. They're going to be like, oh no, we came knocking at the wrong door.
Yes, they did. And I'll tell you what, once they get it, it's going to be tough. These are really difficult to throw nades onto. You kind of have to walk right up to the edge and low toss it, and you don't want to do that because it just puts your whole body out wide in the open. So
1 HP.
1 HP. The off angles from Hyper, trying to get that support, always disgusting. GK first too on that off angle. Player you don't want to mess around with. Chico does get the res, oh, not the res, but the heal off. So he's going to be sitting pretty. I think Hyper realized this is not a fight we want to win. And play it safe, move away. Definitely the smart play in my eyes.
He said this is not a fight we want to win. It's just like, we don't even want to win this fight. It is so far beyond possibility of happening that it's not that we don't want to fight this, we just don't want to win. We're gone.
Yeah, I mean literally, because you know, saying that this is not a fight we want to win, because even if they win it, the chances of them keeping everybody up is so low.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's
so
true.
like, yeah, you win that fight and you're stuck with one player left. They don't want that, right? They want to have everybody up. They want to get some serious points on the board. So, Hyper playing it safe. This is the time they want to. I want to see Hyper take more risks, but going up to Mount Kresnik, you know, on the low ground with not a lot of intel, it's hard. And it pays off, right? Because now the next zone does shift down south. So, GK first going to probably haul it straight to his teammates, but he's got to make sure he doesn't get in the sight lines of Skills of Mind or YKG. Meanwhile, we're seeing BULUC CHABTAN starting to do this camp on the butterfly effect. I told you, getting out of castle was not going to be easy, and they're getting punished for it.
Definitely. They stayed in castle a little bit too long. Robert GG also might have sightlines here, picking up 1-2 points. And oh, I love that. I don't know if that was on purpose, but he was spraying the player going for the revive. And then he transferred over, at least from my eyes, transferred over to the other knock player. So he steals that point away, and he could get a second one as well. You were talking about Hyper, you know, you want them to take a little more risk. That's a really good point, Jukes, because when's the last time you saw Hyper try and fight a team just to see what would happen that's further away from the center of the zone? Because that's what they did with YKG. We have not seen Hyper doing something like that.
You're
as far as I can remember.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't. So, I mean, just the attempt was great, you know? I mean,
this is great for Hyper. I love it. I love seeing that.
They went for the attempt. They realized, you know what? It ain't going to work, right? So let's go ahead and eject from it. But I'll tell you what, if they get a knock or two, then it does work, right?
Yes.
So the fact that they attempted it, we love it. It didn't work, but that's what it's all about. I mean, Hank, nobody hits all their shots, right? If you miss your shots, it is what it is. But we love to see the right plays being made. So let's see how YKG is going to make these plays. They are going up against Skills of Mind. And unfortunate for Skills of Mind, they have had such a rough performance. I guarantee you, if YKG gets a finish on one, they're going to full push them no matter what.
I think they already might have opened on one. It is just a three-man team, and Trixie is nowhere to be seen. He's so far away. He might have some long-range sight lines. And I'm just going to throw this out there. And Hyper's on the north side. They're looking this direction. There might just be a third party soon from Hyper, as a lot of smokes are going down, trying to cover everything. And GK first actually helps out YKG, gets the knock onto Trex. I don't know if YKG realizes one of the players went down there. Now they do. And YKG is going to push up much more aggressively. They have control of the compound.
Yes, they do. They have control of the compound, but do they have control of who's going to get the most eliminations in this match? That is the question, and I wonder what you're going to pick here, Zoo, because there's a lot of options. BULUC CHABTAN has 6 eliminations. Zone did just go over to them. Wall Street Bets had 6, but they're down to 2. Well, let's know in the chat what you guys think. Meanwhile, look at this battle between BOPE, as BOPE takes down a SPADES, just like that. So they're done and dusted. 17 remaining.
7 remaining. Time's ticking. And this is one of the most aggressive Vikendis we've had. Non-stop action from beginning to the end. This is what you love to see. And it is teams stepping up, like PASSIONFRUIT's stepping up huge. BULUC stepping up huge.
Here comes PASSIONFRUIT going all the way to the zone. Which team had the most eliminations? Oh, it's almost a whole PASSIONFRUIT pick. I could not deny Juancho any longer, so I'm going with PASSIONFRUIT. Zute, you're picking BULUC CHABTAN. Not a bad choice. They have the most eliminations so far with 9. And they're going to go up against Puppeteers here. I think this is going to be a huge deciding factor if you get your prediction right.
We'll see in a little bit. They had zone really close by, but I think they do have to leave the safety of their compound as YKG right here on the west side, just figuring out which side they want to attack from. Running back and forth, scouting, trying to get as much info as possible. And that side does look clear, but Hyper just over the ridge line. Curious to see which way they go as BULUC. They're getting ready to mobilize as well. Puppeteers looking to pin them in.
You got Dong with a huge off angle there on top of that rock. He does get picked off a little bit, so Dong said, no, I don't want none of that. Let me go ahead and get this little quick bandage off. And we're going to start applying pressure like crazy to BULUC CHABTAN. So that's 2 knocks. Here comes Puppeteers.
Does not look good for BULUC. Puppeteers going in aggressive. The revive might come out, but definitely won't get the heal off, as it's going to be a 3v2 situation, close range. Blue zone closing in here. Pappy Sour, he's got that DBS, but nades are about to rain in, and that's not going to be pretty for BULUC.
Oh, we actually saw a gas can explode too. Poppy Sour going down. And oh my gosh, the utility just YKG get eliminated. PASSIONFRUIT
Zuko at
on
6. Zuko at 6. I don't know if he picked up 4 or 3, but YKG had 4, and PASSIONFRUITs just stomp them down.
What is in the water? I'm about to ask Quancho and Squad because these guys are going off, especially Zuko. Zuko having the performance of a lifetime. I'll tell you what, you want to make it onto a main roster whenever you sub in for someone else. This is how you become a namestay, right? When you come in, you frag out of your dang mind. And that's what Zuko is doing. He does get caught out, though, by Luhang. Let's see how he decides to bounce back. It looks like he was eliminated. So Zuko is out of there on this one. But the rest of the squad may look to get some revenge for him.
Might have overheated just a little bit after that fight with YKG, overstepped and gets taken down. But PASSIONFRUITs with 3 can still make things happen. There's only one other 4-man team, and that's BOPE. And Hyper putting down some shots onto PASSIONFRUITs, and oh, that circle, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if PASSIONFRUITs could go much further now.
But this is what you're supposed to do, right? When you're PASSIONFRUIT, you want to put up so many eliminations that when you don't get a fortunate zone like this, you're good, right? You put up enough points to where, all right, we're making some movements on the leaderboard. And Zuko had 6, Sixless had 4. So what a crazy performance for both of these players. Yeah, this zone is tough. Honestly, if we even see them make it into this zone, it's a miracle.
There's a slight chance
How?
Sixless might be able somehow to snake it in. Sixless is just one of those players, when there's no cover, it works out even better for him. So, I don't know. I might be jinxing it. But on the other side of things, here is BOPE defending against the Puppeteers.
Never underestimate the sneakiness. And that Molotov was, that was right over the head of Luhang. And he is going to move away from this position. They try to get into this next zone. Puppeteers are going to have a hard time doing it. Look, as you can see, it is in the wide open. So they want to take the position of BOPE, but they are so spread out. So they have the man advantage against these 2 players. Ophelia putting some nice shots on down. And Supra is able to get the finish. So that rotation for Puppeteers just not working out.
Ooh, PASSIONFRUIT's getting cut down right there on the left side of your screen. And guess who's still up? Sixless. I'm telling you, man. If anyone's going to somehow make it in, it's going to be Sixless. He's going to have more fire coming his way. Dong gets taken out, and oh, that nade just nailed right into Sixless. PASSIONFRUITs is out, and Hyper still up. We're down to 2 teams, I think. It is BOPE and Hyper, a 3v2. And Hyper with the man advantage. BOPE will not be able to get that revive. Can Hyper clutch this one out?
Looks like they're going to. They do have the man advantage. They do have the angles. BOPE has the circle, though. So that is going to be a huge advantage for them. They have one player decide to take and prioritize it. That's going to be Nightcrocs. And you got Fuego on the off angle. This could be disgusting. I actually like the spread for BOPE. They got to watch out for this nade. Kindus has heat-seeking missiles in his hand. This one just being a little bit off the mark. That is a bait crate if I've ever seen it. And you can see Nightcrocs throwing a nade right behind it.
Oh,
just as a wild guess. Oh, he knows he's there now, though. He knows he's there now. That was an eviction notice. You better run, GK
really?
First. Oh, that was so close.
Come on.
That should have got him. That should have got him.
I feel like GK First was being way too greedy. A nade rained there seconds before. You really think it's a good idea to still go for it? He should have gone down. but he stays alive somehow, some way. Still a
lucky.
2v3.
Fuego!
And Kindness goes down. Fuego's got the nade. Now it's a 2v2 Jukes. This just got interesting.
That other nade is peeking him off as well. The utility usage from BOPE being so clutch. They don't have any cover, though. Uh-oh, Nightcross going for the peek here. GK first, he has the Groza. He got a Groza, that crate. That's the gun you want. Now it's just up to Fuego, and then I think Fuego denies the point. He's actually stayed. Oh, he hit the rain. And
It's
goes
done.
down immediately after. So, hey, nice effort there from BOPE, but it's Ed Hyper clutching it up again, that chicken dinner.
Yeah, I can't blame Nightcross for trying to make a play off of his teammate getting the knock right. All that just comes down to if you hit your shots, you hit your shots. But good effort in Hyper, however, proving that, you know, hey, YKG gets a dinner, we could get a dinner. Both of those two teams finishing up into the late game on both matches. 1,772 damage, and in Hyper did this as a 3-man squad. They lost one very early on to YKG, and they still get it done.
That's crazy, though, to see so much damage and only 8 eliminations. So they definitely got quite a few of them stolen from them. Just not able to get those conversion rate. But what more could you want, though? A chicken dinner, 8 eliminations. That's just going to kind of rocket launch you up the leaderboard. So a brilliant performance from Hyper, especially coming off the back of a YKG chicken dinner. So that's a way to kind of stick it back towards them and try to catch up. And honestly, I gotta say, that was brought to you by PASSIONFRUIT, because PASSIONFRUIT taking out YKG there was so huge.
Yeah, it was very huge. If YKG somehow made it into that zone and had PASSIONFRUIT's position, hey, we know YKG could do magic when it comes to pushing uphill against a team like Hyper.
Yep, and Hyper getting it done. 4 more matches to go, folks. We'll be right back after the highlights.
It wasn't PASSIONFRUIT, but like Hot Juke said, it was thanks to PASSIONFRUIT that Hyper ended up getting that win. Hyper, I mean, they're currently seeing Extreme Slayers there at the top, kind of starting to fumble a little bit. Great win out of them.
Yeah, no, really good win. Once again, it was a very scrappy, similar to game 1, very scrappy outer ring with a lot of dead zone, dead space in the middle. But this time around, Hyper, because they were on one of those edges, controlling that space, getting a lot of eliminations. Sure, as you said, they weren't into the mix in the very beginning. I mean, actually, they weren't even... PASSIONFRUIT was in the mix in the middle section. In the beginning, we were seeing a bunch of teams really start to go incredibly aggressive right out of the gates, and one of them was BULUC CHABTAN, who actually made a really good run for themselves this match as well.
Yeah, and I actually love the aggressiveness out of Hyper at first, even though it kind of backfired when they were trying to push on YKG. They decided to back off. You know what? Let's look at the match rankings because I want to see where some of the other teams ended up in this match ranking. But going back to what I was saying with Hyper, I like how they decided to just back off from that fight. Even though they have been really aggressive, the smartness, the gameplay is still there out of them. And I mean, I allowed them to get that chicken dinner. 18 points for them, but I feel like the biggest surprise, PASSIONFRUIT Esports, 14 points, 10 out of those points coming from eliminations.
Yeah, just a really good, really strong performance. They did have a shift that put them in a really rough spot. I think that if, what was it, phase 6, 7, whenever it was that it shifted away from them when they were on the bottom of the hill with very little cover to move around with, I think right after they defeated YKG, if that shift didn't go that far in that direction, they could have easily won this round. But hey, 14 points, still really strong performance. You're not going to be too upset at that one. You have so many rounds that we play so many rounds here in Battle Royale because, you know, to mitigate the effects of a single zone shift more or less. And so they can't be upset about that run. That run.
I think they're currently averaging, if I'm not mistaken, like more points per match than they did on previous stage, which is just absolutely ridiculous out of them. But we love seeing that. Another team that I feel like we have to give some props to, BOPE Esports, a team that I was calling, pretty much hinting at the beginning of the day, saying that they do have a win, but we really haven't seen much out of them. Well, guess what? Here, you know what? 12 points out of them, six eliminations. And BULUC CHABTAN, that was one that caught us by surprise because they were just deciding to take on a lot of fights, and it was going there really good for them for a bit. 9 elims.
Yeah, usually when a team goes aggressive at the very beginning of the round, they get a couple of points. Even if they win whatever is a hot drop or they go for an aggressive sort of rotation camp, whatever it is, they'll get a couple of eliminations there, but then they don't usually have a set up position to make anything of the mid game towards the end game. But BULUC were fragging out that entire time. So, like, really good performance. I still wouldn't, like, intentionally lean into early game aggression every single time, but this time around it worked out very, very well. What didn't work out, Extreme Slayers.
Yes.
Got 0 points. They got 3 points this time, 3 eliminations. But this is not the team that I expected coming in to today. Maybe they're just nervous that I'm the one watching on the desk now, because this is it feels like it's an entirely different team. It's only 2 rounds, but this is not a good trend from compared to the first 3 days.
Maybe Extreme Slayers haven't had their Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner. See, I feel like they just took a little bit too long in Castle. It is a completely different Extreme Slayers than what we're used to seeing. It is only 2 games in, and after what we've seen out of them the first 3 days, I'm going to give them just a bit of a break, right? Because of what we've been able to see out of them. The next team that I will actually like to dissect a little bit more is PASSIONFRUIT Esports. I would like to see how they've done so far today in comparison to day 3, because day 3 was their best day of PMPL so far. And today, they're just blowing that out of the water. By the way, day 3 is going to be on your left side, and today is going to be on your right side. And look at those stats already. Eliminations, damage, everything's just going their way.
These are stats comparable to Execute's entirely day 3. We only have 2 rounds of day 4 so far, and PASSIONFRUIT are putting up numbers like this. This is the reason why I think I'm a little more nervous about Extreme Slayers, is because not only do we have NHyper, YKG continuing to push ahead themselves, but also got other teams that are really getting up in the mix. And I know that at the start of the day, we were talking about PASSIONFRUIT's run from where they were in like the low double digits on the leaderboard to get into a top section and really compete for those bonus points is quite far. But if they continue on this rate, if they continue with this trajectory, I'm not going to count them out.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to count them out. This is kind of what I've been hinting at this whole time, saying I'm going to give them after week 1. After week 1, if they haven't really been able to do anything, then I'll start criticizing them even more. They needed that extra time with them to build up that synergy. We're starting to see that, especially with Valley coming in. We're starting to see a completely different PASSIONFRUIT Esports. And let us know in the comments below. Let us know on social media as well. Use that hashtag PMPLNA. And do you think PASSIONFRUIT can maybe end up within the top 5? Yes? No? Use the hashtag PMPLNA. I think maybe not top 5, but a top 7 would be a solid one, Cam.
I think top 5 is possible. Again, that center section really, really stacked there. So now top 3, that's a bit of a long shot. But top 5, I'm all on board, baby.
Yeah, a bit of a long shot, but if Extreme Slayers continue going the way they're going, and by the way, it's a huge gap, okay? It's an even bigger gap from Extreme Slayers to PASSIONFRUIT. So PASSIONFRUIT, you better start winning some games. We don't want to just see those eliminations. We want to start seeing some wins. But as you mentioned, I feel like they got definitely screwed there in that Vikendi because of the zone. Completely went away from them.
Yeah, but again, you know what? They only 4 points behind NHyper, who even outside of winning had another good run themselves. So again, that shift, a negative to them, but it's not like it ruined their game. Like I think they're still going to be fine. Really good run. When you play enough of PUBG, when you're at this level of PUBG Mobile, you know that like, hey, that was a good run. We did everything that we could do. Good job. And like you learn quickly to just sort of let the uncontrollables just wash off you. Like, it's not fun. Don't. That stress does not stick. Just ever forward.
Yeah, and I want to continue to see Sixless, Suko, two fragging out players, especially today. I want to continue to see that out of them because that's just going to be building up a lot of confidence. Sixless is especially a player that runs of that confidence. If he's feeling super confident, that's going to just reach out towards their teammates. And that could be very, very scary, especially with Walik, what he was able to do in the first game, right? If they can just get one win under their belt, I feel like that's going to continue on. I'm excited to see who's going to be winning the next match, though, because we are going to be going to Erangel. Maybe PASSIONFRUIT. I can't even remember. Can we see participating teams before I even try to pick them? I want to make sure that PASSIONFRUIT Esports is actually going to be playing. I actually, you know what? We're not going to be able to because
we'll see it live.
Yeah, true. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that they might actually be in the game. I highly doubt it.
Your guess is that they might be in the game.
Yes. 10 out of 10 guess. Thanks. Hey, we got the last pick right. Just saying. All right. Just saying.
That's true.
You know
We did. I'm 100% guess rate. Let's go.
I'll give it to Hodges. Hodges Sute is Passion. If they're in, is PASSIONFRUIT's gonna get the win here in Erangel? Let us know.
Yes, they will. If they're playing, we're about to find out right now, though. Let's go ahead and get into Erangel. Match number 3. There's this one and 2 more left to go, Zute. And they are playing. So PASSIONFRUIT Esports. Let's see them get a chicken dinner. They need it. They got the eliminations. They're making the plays. We're seeing some signs of life. Sixless waking up out of his slumber. He did say that he was, when I talked to him, he said, I played because I was bored. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like the boredom is finally starting to go away.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know what? It's a lot more fun when I was winning. So I'm gonna start, racking up some points, putting up some numbers, and that's exactly what he did along with Zuko that last match. So let's see if they can keep the momentum coming into this one. Execute in this lobby as well. One of the teams that I was saying that I hope to see step up, nab some chicken dinners. So we'll see very soon. As this plane path, by the way, Jukes, a very southern plane path. Last time we had a southern plane path, we had a southern circle military base. Is it gonna happen again?
I hope so. Just a little bit off the mark. We still got a little bit of it, but I don't know. I would actually be down to see a bridge finish. We haven't seen one of those in a hot minute. That'd be
bridge
fun.
Finish. Toxic. Look how many teams are on military base, though, Jukes.
Crazy. This is way more than normal.
3 teams? No, 2 teams in Novo. One of them is stretching away right there. Looks like Skills of Mind.
I think it's 3. I think it's Canadian Eagles, Skills of Mind, and the Fire Squad.
Speed Fire.
You got Excuse and Ace on the other side. So 5 teams over here near Millie. But it does look like the Eagles and Skills of Mind are stretching all the way over to Milta.
Yeah, they saw another team dropping there, and they're like, we do not want a hot drop. And now they're kind of hot dropping into each other on the northern side of across ways of military base. And one player goes down, Skills of Mind. That one player right next to Jimmy77K did not get the memo to group up with the team, and he gets caught. First casualty going down. And there's going to be much more to come. This is a great zone, by the way, for once again in Hyper. They have so many strong positions that they could take from it. This circle in particular, every time I see it, I usually see in Hyper. Well, I mean, we always see in Hyper like center zone in a strong spot. But this one, I feel like is one of their better circles when it comes to positioning and taking advantage of splits.
I got to agree. You got to take advantage of those splits whenever you can. I think they're becoming more risky though as time goes on.
Yeah.
I think we've seen them fail more than work out. So there's certain situations, certain times where split's good because you want to get some, the most information you can. But especially towards the late game, I really think it's time to start giving them up and just play together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only info you need is to know that you have 3 teammates up and you guys are going to fight your way in the late game, right? Early game, mid game, and even mid-late game, you could definitely exploit some huge weaknesses on the map with info. But late game, just stick together and play as a team 100%. BOPE, Nightcrocs almost clutched it up. that 2v3, it could have been a chicken dinner, but the mechanics, the nerves maybe kicked in, and he couldn't get the shots in on the NHyper player.
Swing and a miss happens to the best of us, that's for sure. As we look at LOTUS, chilling in Pachinki, the big Pachinki. Remember back in the day when Pachinki was like the place to drop? Always the best team in the world was always in Pachinki.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I think teams
Those were
now,
the days.
Those were the days, but I think especially now that like with the adjustment in the, I think that's a pure reflection to the adjustment in the scoring system, because when survival points were so valuable. I mean, it was before it was 20 points for first place.
No,
for survival
30.
points. It was 30. Yeah, it started off with 30.
There was 30 points for first place.
Yeah, 30. Then it went down to 20, and then now it's down to 10. So I mean, yeah, back then, I mean, yeah, being central zone, just surviving, you were good to go. But now you got to pick up a lot of eliminations. So, you know, playing those edge angles, catching some teams on the edge off guard, maybe a couple steals here and there have just become so much more valuable.
Yeah, that and also teams didn't know how to play aggressive, right? TPP used to be an even bigger advantage back in the days when teams were more inexperienced. But nowadays, I mean, you see YKG push into teams that are TPP holding all day long. And YKG have no problem with it. So combination of point changing and just teams getting better at rotations, right? You don't need that center spot to start off the map anymore. And the evolution of PUBG Mobile in a nutshell right there.
100%, yeah. And then sometimes too, like taking that central position at the highest level is really risky, especially taking it early on, because every team wants that spot. And all it takes is one team to crash. And once you get that one team crashing you, regardless, you're pretty much screwed, because you're going to get third-partied afterwards and taken out, and then another team wants it. So it's really about taking the right position at the right time. And every single zone, every single tournament with different teams, the entire dynamic just changes. So, I mean, PUBG Mobile, definitely an extremely competitive esport game.
Zone is starting to close in as we see the rotations coming out of a few of these squads. Only lost one player so far. With the circle being the way it is, there's a lot of strong positions scattered all around the map. So free pickings for, you know, many teams. They're not going to really fight for one spot or another. It's going to need at least like maybe 2 more circle shifts before we really know the lay of the land and how this battle is going to shape out. And NHyper, right here, nowhere close to center. They don't need to be center in this first zone, right? Because one shift and that power position could be a completely different spot on the map.
Yes, it can. Let's see what the play is going to end up being. NHyper coming off a chicken dinner, they have really turned up things in these past couple days, you know, and I hope we see, I'm waiting for the days where we see NHyper start like this, you know, first week, you know, first day, second day, third day, you know, it's because those big tournaments are coming. Like PMW High was only a few days. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't weeks, so you don't have a lot of time to make those adjustments when the big money counts. This is the place where you do it. This is the place where you go, you maybe try some new things, and you really try to dial in your gameplay. And hopefully we will see them continue to do that here. YKG, I think this is a different YKG from the spring split. What about you?
I feel like it's the same YKG for me, but it's just they're just better than before because they just had more time to get it, put in more work, more scrims, more practice. Like I don't think their style has changed at all. No, there's no like superstar player on the team. Any member could do almost like any role at any given time. It's just they're just getting better slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely indeed. And let's see exactly how the play is going to opt here as we look and see this zone about to shift. Where are we going? Going to Gatka? No! Bridge still in play here. All right. Now things are starting to heat up, especially with the zone having so much water. It really just cuts how many spaces are available. Zute, what do you see?
I see a lot of teams that just went, wow, okay.
Literally.
They thought they had like one more zone, maybe even 2 more zones to really figure out, okay, we got to go in this way, get this position. But nope, circle 2 is like, have fun, guys.
Good luck.
You better
Good
get
luck.
here now.
Yep, and YKG are just laughing because, you know, they drop right next to the spot, so they are big chilling. They have literally the entire west side edge all to themselves. They got to watch out, though, because Execute, by the way, Execute gave up on Primorsk.
Yeah, they don't drop there anymore.
They don't drop there anymore. So this is the first time we really see them say, you know what, no mas. You know, we tap out. And I think rightfully so, because YKG put the hurt on them, and it was a great decision. But they know that YKG's there. So they could try to backstab them and maybe get a little bit of revenge here.
Potentially so. We'll see in the next few coming zones. And Hyper gets a nice knock, but I don't think they'll be able to convert that as it is long range. And Hyper looking to just relocate once again. There's no way they're pushing this. I know they're playing a little more aggressive, but yeah, you're going to get into a more central position, a better compound to hold down. Last game, by the way, I'm so happy that NHyper won the match after, you know, trying to get aggressive early on in a fight that they had no real need to. So the fact that they like lost that kind of fight, lost a player, and still won the match should be a huge confidence boost for them that, like, look, we don't have to like play so safe and passive to keep 4 up and win the match. We could still do it with 3, even if we lose a player early on, taking a little bit of a risk.
You gotta take those risks sometimes. You gotta risk it to get the biscuit. K19 is one of those teams that I kind of have a question mark on, because you know HH24 can frag out, but I think we've just really I think we're just gonna take some more time to see K19. We've seen some signs of life, right?
Yeah, they've been playing better and better.
Yeah, they've been playing better and better, so it's good to see incremental change, and that's what we want to see, especially here in PMPL North America. Not every team is going to come off just being like the most ridiculous dominant squad. This is the place, like we mentioned, to get better, and I think we are seeing that from K19. We're seeing that from BOPE too. BOPE too. I think we've seen some good decisions, couple lackluster ones here and there, but you know, as time goes on, hopefully we see those get tightened up. Now, one team in particular that we really have been waiting on, Skills of Mind. Skills of Mind.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a long way to go, and you know, Seven said it earlier. You don't want to be what we call a feeder team. You know, Skills of Mine and Speedfire right now, they are in that boat. And the problem with being one of those teams is that if they realize it's you, they're gonna full push you no matter where you're at. No matter how much of a dominant position you have, you're gonna get full push, and that just makes the game so much harder.
Definitely. Next circle does shift, pulls away from the water, so a little bit of sigh of relief, because you never know with these circle jukes. It could have shifted down south again and made that little pier that juts out into the water, the center of the zone. I've seen it happen before, so I think the players are definitely happy that was not the case. Pulls back up north. Teams do have more land to work with now, as K19, we were talking about them. They've been improving. Oh, they lose HH24 early on. That's always gotta suck right there. Canadian Eagles trying to stay alive. Quinn finds a shack, but it's only on the edge of the zone.
Only on the edge of the zone, indeed. As we see Lotus rocking a split here. This could be dangerous because K19 is pretty close. If K19 pushes Sarah, then they're going to be in big trouble. So Fetty is on the move. Meanwhile, we're seeing teams, a lot of swaps over here in camera work, because there are players everywhere getting into some action. And K19 are going to be holding the shack position for now. Trip holding it, Skur by the tree. Fetty, yep, I think he definitely spotted him. So here comes the nade. Does he have the arm to get there, though?
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, close, actually.
Oh, Gara does, though.
Gara.
So let me show you how it's done, buddy. Just like that, gets the knock. And now K19 with only a couple players left. They're in full-on scavenger mode.
Yeah. Oh, stolen! Skills of Mine. Uh-oh. That always sucks. There's still one more player for them to take out. Trip smartly leaving the safety of the shack because he doesn't want to get naded in there, but then he gets pelted by bullets from elsewhere. K19 not looking too good here. They're about to bow out. They do have one player elsewhere near center of the map. That's Tukey. Yeah. I think he might be like in a divot, or maybe even, oh, I think he's in a shack. That might be the magical shack. We'll see in the next few zones as the nades coming in. Fishy just trying to get that elimination, and PASSIONFRUIT once again on your screen. Putting up numbers.
All right, Passion Fruit coming in hot here with another couple knocks, and this is going to be putting a lot of pressure on BOPE, but these are those splits, right? You see a couple players up front. Now, Fuego is in a position to help support his teammates, but just a little bit too far off the mark. Oh, wow. Yep, there you go. Zuko, as soon as you said it, Zuko said tap, 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 tap. And gets the thirst on the baby tank. Actually,
Really good job.
Yeah, he did.
Might have been his teammate, but Passion Fruit's just playing so well right now. We might have said the first one was a little bit lucky, you know, for them to make it into that late game. Was it the roster change? Was it this? Was it that? Well, this is 3 games. And okay, it's still early in the match, but they just look so much better. So I would have to say 3 games in a row, they're looking strong.
They are. They're looking real strong right now by all sense of the imagination. So it's good to finally really see them show up right when they need to. And, you know, 6less with 3 eliminations. This is just back-to-back crazy performances from him. I talked to Juancho. Juancho said, you know what, 1 elimination so far. So we're getting there. We're getting there. You know, he said, I'm going to get 30 minutes. He's like, 1 elimination so far, bet. That's what he said. So let's see if you can.
There's a Juancho I know and love.
Yep, that's him indeed. So you know what? Start not the deal so far, but who knows? Maybe he might get 15 eliminations in one match and prove us wrong.
Hey, if honestly, this a little bit, you know, not talked about, but if there's a player on a team that keeps the morale up, keeps everyone lighthearted, keeps everyone enjoying the game, which is something that Juancho definitely does, that could do a lot for a team as well. It doesn't always have to be the stats, Jukes.
You're right. You're right. I'm telling you, like, that is one of the most underrated stats, in my opinion, because having somebody there to give your team morale, especially when the going gets tough,
yeah, like in the first couple of days.
Yeah, a massive difference maker for sure. So Juancho put in the work regardless. Let's see where the rest of the teams are currently sitting. You know, we see 412 Nomads, kind of in that mid-pack, and again, hopefully we can see them get that. Ace of Spades, though, man. Ace of Spades have been plagued today, going out early, and that's to excuse.
Yeah. Some teams still continue to struggle, but there's a lot of teams that are, you know, really stepping it up. Nice balance of things. You know, not everyone can have improvements, unfortunately, but there is a few. 412 Nomads coming in. They're going to take this fight right up to the doorstep of Wall Street Bets. So far, it's just Aleem. The rest of the team of 412 up on the hill providing cover fire. Second player crashes in. Killjoy's got the nade. The cover fire, where is it at? And the nades are good from the defense on Wall Street Bets. 412 Nomads getting stuffed on their push.
Getting stuffed indeed, and not in a good way as we see them get completely eliminated. Unfortunate for them. We got Killjoy here on the other side. 2 eliminations so far. Wall Street Bets turning it up here in the late game. They've had a couple good matches. They started this tournament off strong. Got a little bit quiet, but I think now we're starting to finally see them heat it up.
Heating up indeed. Puppeteers on the northeast next to Puppeteers, or next to Passionfruit, and Execute coming in hot in a 3-way fight. It's Lotus and Wall Street Bets.
See what Wall Street Bets can do as Fetty go ahead and throw a nade down. And they do have 1 player get eliminated. The rest of Lotus, man, putting in a lot of work. But Execute is just on the other side of them. Trick, yep, he's got a nade locked and loaded. Can he thread the needle? Looks good.
Looks good.
Fish, you gotta watch out. Oh, the bounce.
It's
Gets him,
in.
though. That's a huge knock. Are we gonna see a push from Wall Street Bets, though? Not Execute. Is Execute going to finish this fight off? Or are they just gonna, it looks like they're just smoking it out, letting them buy some time.
Yeah. 1 knock push is always rough when it comes to compounds. You might have gotten that knock, but 1 player, you know, steps a little bit too far ahead and he gets knocked, and all of a sudden you're back to a 3v3. So they're just gonna play it slow. New zone pop too, and they have the circle, and they know Wall Street Bets might be close by. So they're going to make sure they don't get third-partied or shot in the back, so they're waiting it out a little bit.
Waiting it out indeed. And let's see if that is the right decision. They are taking a lot of time. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. It looks like they're going to probably push this all the way to the last second. Oh, nope. They say, you know what? Zone's starting to close. Time to heat it up a little bit. You can see the movement coming out from them as Fetty is trying to defend. Question is, you know, which team is going to get top 3 here? A lot of great choices. You got PASSIONFRUIT having a great performance. They are getting into a battle, though, right now with PUPPETEERs. And it looks like they're getting the better of it. But you got YKG and Hyper there on the other side. Oh, any one of these teams could definitely get it done.
Yeah, we got powerhouse teams on just opposite ends of the circle, right? YKG on the southwest and Hyper on the southeast right here on your screen. If they can hold off this push by Excuse, it should be good to control this side of the zone. One player of Hyper does go down. They get the trade. Can they get the second one? Koi, this is a few shots. They still got the man advantage, though. Ren is out there on the shack, bleeding out slowly. 2 members of Excuse are up. Make that just one. Another good nade. Kindness from deep inside the house. Throwing that one out and connecting.
GK first, looking to throw a nade as well. Here we go. Is he going to be able to thread that needle? He throws it a little too far. Chronix is stuck in the shack, though. It should be an easy push for Hyper, and they get it done. So, Hyper, full wipe onto Excuse, and they are going to be able to pick up Ren. Kindness crushing it, getting 3 of those 4 eliminations. Uh-oh! What happened to Execute?
Oh, that's not good. Trick goes down. Rest of Lotus coming here. Lotus has 4 up, by the way. Now it's down to just 1 player. Execute.
Oh, the shots!
It's Kill Switch, though. If anyone can pull it off, it might be Kill Switch. It's a 1v4. He got 1 knock. Wait, there's 2 knocks. Oh,
no.
Fate was still up.
Down.
It's a 1v2, Jukes. Can Kill Switch pull off the miracle?
And his teammates are getting thirsted by the second. He's going to go for the res on Tensa. He just might. Yep, he does go for it. Ooh, I wonder if a jump out here is even worth it at this point, because you really have to make something happen. He jumps out that window, does a 180. He should be able to get these knocks.
He could get 2 doing that, yeah.
Yep,
He's going to go for it. There's 1. There's 2. No, he only gets 1. Tensa has to heal. Kill Switch putting on the pressure. Can he get a second? He does not.
If he got that second, it would have been huge, but it was not enough. So, Execute, taking too much time. I think they took way too much time to make this push, and that one little delay cost them that fight.
Definitely. So, I feel like Kill Switch, I thought he was going to stop the revive and then hop out and catch 1, because he knows 2 are knocked, right? They're probably each going for a revive of their own. But that's all hindsight. Next zone comes out. It goes down south in Hyper with the zone on the eastern side. And the compounds in play. YKG, they have to play a little bit more in the open. And PASSIONFRUITs, they still got 4 up, Jukes. And they're on that north side.
No, PASSIONFRUIT on the edge of the zone looking real good. And
sorry, they only have 3.
Yeah, they only have 3. But, I mean, this was honestly the team I really wanted to pick. But YKG on that south side, and all they got to do is get top 3. I could not deny it. So YKG is the team that all of us here on the desk picked to finish top 3. But PASSIONFRUIT so far, 10 eliminations, Zute.
Juancho with 3
from yesterday. Juancho showing on up.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the start. I'm telling you that once Juancho starts popping off, the rest of the squad's going to go into overtime.
Yeah. Juancho putting in work. 24K with the mini long range. Putting in some shots. YKG with only 1 elimination as of now. They'll definitely be able to pick up a couple more, especially with having 4 players up and them not having zone. Well, that just means they're going to come knocking at somebody's doorstep. It looks like it's going to be Lotus Esports as YKG kind of threads in a little bit deeper into zone. Crossfire from Canadian Eagles, takes down 1 member, gets another one knocked. A little bit of an oversight. They didn't really expect that angle to take them down so quickly.
Uh-oh, the Canadian Eagles in the mix. I think this is a pick that even 7WG wanted right here. They're both there. Big sitting right now in this shack, just trying to survive for the time being. Juancho does get knocked. That has enraged, lit a fire in the side of PASSIONFRUIT as they're going to get that res. Valak there, save his buddy.
Push from Ling.
Uh-oh, Ling is here looking to get the finish. But Valak said, no, sir, don't touch my Juancho.
Oh, Lu Zhang goes down. He tried to make the play. Good effort, good attempt. Good job from Valak getting that revive, because Sixless was nowhere close to support. Sixless is busy holding the northern side and providing info for the rest of his team. Nice 1-2 split, by the way, from PASSIONFRUIT. Gives them a lot of options to play with.
I don't mind these kind of splits where they can at least cover each other. Sixless, I think, is a little bit too bold right now because he's completely in a position to just try and solo rather than protect his team.
But he's the best solo player there is. It's Sixless.
That's true.
You have to give him that. Certain players, you know, are more valuable in certain positions / roles. And Sixless, he's one of the best when it comes to being a solo player off on his own.
But man, I'll tell you what, see, this is what I'm worried about, you know? GK first, catching Sixless on the edge, it's just not worth it at this point. I would have much rather see him just stick with the squad and work together in the late game because, man, with Sixless, he's great solo, but when working as a team, that's a whole nother level. Now, in Hyper, throws another nade, and Huacho is down again with that knock, and Hyper is full sending it on Valik. Ooh, he did have a nice little play earlier.
Can he do it again?
Can he do it again? That'd be crazy. Nope.
Look at that. Enhyper pushing out of zone to finish off his squad. Smart. We don't see that. But that might bite them in the butt here as Speedfire coming in for a quick third party. Koi's holding it down. They didn't send everyone. He's got that shotgun. And just that position alone lets Enhyper be comfortable enough to push back into the zone they had previous.
Ooh. Speedfire need to make something happen right here because if they don't, they're gonna change their name to It's Just Speedfire. And that is a name you don't want. Let's see what Fresh can do there. They have the whole squad up with a solid position. They're rocking a 2-2 split that I think is way more than they could chew here, Zute.
Yeah. Joey gets picked though, so Speedfire is able to pick up a point. Joey should get confirmed. That nade looks good. YKG might not make it into the top 3. They're just one placement shy of it. That nade.
No!
Oh!
Chico goes down. 4th place. Not able to make it into the top 3. And Hyper, I think, definitely the best pick as they are looking rock solid here. They have the eyes down on the Speedfire. This 2-2 split, like I said, just a little risky. Now, fortunately for them, it's actually okay because that little under these stairs here, this spot does give them coverage, and the rest of Speedfire have direct sight lines here. So it's going to be hard for Hyper to get those finishes. Fresh, looking to open it up with a nade. Doesn't hit anything. Zone starting to close, though. Where's it going to go?
Oh, it is going to be tough. Hopefully it goes Canadian Eagles and gives them a chance to win this match with Enhyper and Speedfire caught right on top of each other. Shots going back and forth, no knocks. And you can see Enhyper doesn't want to push too much further out because Canadian Eagles are here shooting right back. Kindness goes down to a nade. That's the star fragger right now for the Enhyper with 5, and he gets confirmed. Speedfire putting a hurting on Enhyper and Canadian Eagles adding insult to injury. That might be the go-ahead for Speedfire to push, and they are.
Here comes the aggression right on time. It's just Koi. He's not going to be able to do anything about this. Just trying to do some crazy work with the S12K, but cannot hit the shots. It is Canadian Eagles versus Speedfire. Man, I know Seven was really thinking about picking Canadian Eagles, but he just had to pick YKG. So unfortunate.
Man, Speedfire looking so good right now. Everybody getting a piece of the chicken dinner. Speedfire, I think they're on the 3rd page, right, of the leaderboards. The 3rd page. This is going to be a big win for them if they could close it out. Mistakes can still happen. It is a 4v2. They should take it. But the Canadian Eagles, all they need is 1, 2 knocks, and it's a 2v2.
Dude, Speedfire needs a chicken dinner right here so bad. I mean, they need it big time. Can they pull it out? That will really separate them from Skills of Mind. And they will be the lowest point team with the chicken dinner if they can get it done.
Zone. Looks like it's just going to shrink to nothing. This is the final zone. So both teams playing it safe, not wanting to give anything away. Nades coming back and forth. Bob really close to that player. I don't think he knows Jimmy's here. Yeah, Jimmy's in a great little off-angle spot.
Jimmy's got the B-zone. Jimmy's got the B-zone, the Bison. He's up front and personal. And Clown's putting some nice little suppressive fire there. They have all the real estate in the world. I mean, the only way Speedfire lose this is if they make the throw of the century.
I want to see Jimmy just anchor this position down. Don't even show yourself until you have 100% knock.
Oh,
He does
those
not
smokes are
need to
nice.
make the aggressive play. Yeah, those are really good smokes for Canadian Eagle.
I think they're good smokes for Speedfire to be. Oh, actually, no, they are. They are. They're just perfectly placed. If they were a little bit closer, I would have said they've been bad. But those are actually some
Just
solid
far enough.
smokes. Yeah, just far enough for Canadian Eagles to get a little bit more breathing room and buy themselves some time, because this is so nice, ladies and gentlemen. This circle is going to go down into nothing, all the way down to the center of the map.
Buggy play? Really?
Here it comes.
Okay. If he could catch Jimmy somehow.
Bob!
Yeah,
This is it. Explodes. And
It's
down
done.
go the Canadian Eagles. Speedfire pulling out a chicken dinner. I am so excited for this squad. I mean, talk about an underdog story, right? A team that has been struggling so far all tournament. We've seen Clown dominate before in previous squads. And this game could be the start of the Speedfire run.
Yeah, it's still early in on the tournament. We still got 2 weeks left, so better now than never. Speedfire turning things around. However, one thing that doesn't change is kindness up here on the match report.
Man, Kindness dominating the match report. Drago showing up the match report. Crazy to not see one member of Speedfire here. That is absolutely wild. But man, you know what? I think we're starting to see the Speedfire synergy. We saw the player pictures right there. You know, shoulders, biceps, the same size. These guys are working out together. And I think that is finally starting to kick in here in the latter stages.
Yeah, they played it really well against NHyper. They didn't rush things, but they tried to do something, didn't feel too comfortable, and then held it down. They were going to third party NHyper. Remember when NHyper left the zone to finish off PASSIONFRUIT? So it's great to see when teams attempt to do something rather than not try anything at all. And they're able to also have the maturity to attempt it and then call it off. They didn't force the matter anymore when they, saw it got a little bit hairy, and Hyper already finished the fight. They couldn't third party it fully. So great job for Speedfire.
Yeah, huge from them. I like the fact that they realized the situation and took advantage of it. It's going to be a huge morale boost, too, to not just win a game, but also be able to take out NHyper in that situation and then go from there. So hopefully, like I said, this is the start. There's still plenty of tournament left. I mean, this squad, if they just really just hit it hard here from there, we could definitely see them get in the mix of the top ranks.
Yeah, there's still some couple matches left, Juke, so let's take it to the highlights and bring it over to the desk.
Talking about teams that needed to step it up, the team that was, I believe, in last place, or at least definitely in that third page there, as Hodges was saying, got to win. That's a big surprise, and also a big surprise to see Canadian Eagles there at the end. They were somehow able to just maintain their position in the little shack and just crush it out for at least a second place finish, Cam.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see more teams get involved within that, what I call the forest of death, that like strip of forest between Ferry Pier and the field above it. Teams were just very focused on, once again, controlling the outer extremities, and so that allowed a team like Canadian Eagles to just sit in the middle, and they weren't forced to engage into any team until the very, very end. But yeah, Speedfire doing a really good job. They actually swam up from military base, slotted in under and hyper through Ferry Pier, and them as well. They didn't have to do a lot of combat until the very, very end. But the play of Jimmy pitting himself under Canadian Eagles was, in my opinion, like the game-winning play. Him getting into that position with all of the rest of his teammates behind him at long range gave them the ability to really control that space that even in a 4 versus 2 is not always the most straightforward thing to do.
Yeah, especially when you're a team towards the bottom, right? You're always going to have some questions behind you, but it's good to see that they were at least able to clutch up that win. So you know what, let's take a look at the match rank and see how some of the other teams were able to do well, because Canadian Eagles, even though they were very quiet, they were still able to get some elims there. They ended up with 7 eliminations for 13 points total. And then once again, the storyline of the day, what it feels like for me, PASSIONFRUIT Esports continues to do so great in regards to eliminations. They've been averaging, if I'm not mistaken, already 10 or more per game, for a total of 13 points. Great day out of them so far, Cam.
Yeah, the fact that they're up there in 3rd place on the overall leaderboard when they went out in 6th, like they are fragging on an entirely different level, and we all know the gap between the top 3 and everyone else is pretty massive. Even with the day that Extreme Slayers has had, it still feels like they're almost twice the points of Execute, who are in 4th place. But regardless, this run by PASSIONFRUIT today is looking really, really good, if not for this phase, but for the phases coming up.
Yeah, and for YKG, only able to get 5 points there. I thought they were going to be able to go do a rotation on the south towards the east. For some reason, 24K and Isajad decided to send it towards the road. I know sometimes that can be a strong position, but some of the other teams just had such a great angle on them that they got absolutely demolished. I would like to take a look at the second page to see how some of the other teams ended up doing, because BOPE Esports, they were not able to follow up on the performance that they did earlier, and Execute only being able to get 1 point.
Yeah, I just think that it's ridiculous that once again we see Extreme Slayers with 0 points from this match. Granted, it's because they're not playing. No, hopefully for Extreme Slayers, because again, I think they're still very much in the mix despite having a disappointing first couple of rounds. The fact that they were able to take it's in the schedule that they took this game off. We'll see if they can use that as a mental reset going into the last rounds of today, because look, they're up there in 3rd place. They've only had 3 points off the top of the day, where YKG have overtaken them by 15, and NHyper, more than 15, like 25, and NHyper are like closer to 15 above them, but they were like 20 below them at the start of the day. So when you have like when it's a neck and neck race and only one of those teams, in this case Extreme Slayers, falls off, like you see the results immediately.
Yeah, they do have one more game to play, as you can see there, and Hyper and YKG already played 15. I'm going to be looking at Execute because I kind of want to see a little bit more out of them today. We thought they were going to be able to start strong after the first match. They slowed down in a big way. Puppeteers, though, being able to jump up to that 5th place. Canadian Eagles, a team that started in 14th place, now moving their way up to 8th place. I feel like this last game definitely has a lot to do. And it kind of goes with what you were saying at the start, too, that all of these teams are just so close together that one good game can push you up. And talking about one good game, how about 3 good games from PASSIONFRUIT Esports pushes them up all the way from 9th place when they started off the day in 18th place. That's a great performance.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, they're going to be in there in the bonus points. Whether they can catch up in the top 3, pretty unlikely at this point. But, like, they're on a tear right now. The fact that they were able to get 8 positions with 0 chicken dinners is really, really good. And the reason why I'm focusing on chicken dinners in this case for placement points is not just because, you know, a win is a win, which it is, but because unlike every other position of placement points, which goes up by 1, the jump between 2nd and 1st place is 4 full points. So being able to, in the same way that we say you want to be able to confirm your knocks into eliminations, you want to be able to confirm a good number of your late game placements into full wins, so you can get those like 3 quote-unquote bonus points, if you want to look at it that way, for getting that chicken dinner. But without any of those, still at 77 points, it's been a great day for them so far.
Also, something to keep an eye out with how close the scores are. And I mean, we're seeing some ties here and there. Obviously, it's for teams that are not going to be getting any bonus points, but if you get towards the top, a chicken dinner could be one of those tiebreakers, right? So if they can convert all those elims to some more placement points, and ultimately that chicken dinner, not only is it going to be a tiebreaker if it does end up happening to be the case, it's also going to be a bit more of a confidence booster, because right now they're like, okay, yeah, we're being able to get a lot of elims, but we just keep getting stuck. We're not able to get past a certain, like a top 5. We're not able to get into a top 3 situation or anything like that. PASSIONFRUIT definitely needs to be able to do that, and Speed of Fire being able to jump up there from last place all the way up to 19th. Which, hey, you know what? Baby steps. Speed of Fire.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
And remember, they were in last place by like a pretty good margin. So again, like just really getting themselves into the mix. They're probably going to have another good game before they get themselves in that like mid to high 60s, low 70s mix where a lot of the teams are in that middle section. But yes, as you said, baby steps. Do not underestimate the value of momentum and confidence.
Well, we are going to be able to see Extreme Slayers coming into this next match, which is going to be Miramar. We're not going to be able to see PASSIONFRUIT Esports continue on the performance that they've been able to do. But you know what, Extreme Slayers? I'm hoping that they're going to be able to bounce back. Hot Juke, Sute, Extreme Slayers going to be able to bounce back in Miramar? Yes or no?
Of course they can. Of course they can. Anybody can bounce back, even the teams all the way at the bottom. And we just saw a nice little bounce back there from Speedfire. It's a little bounce because they have a lot more bouncing here to do. But I love an underdog story. I love an underdog story. I love to see a team get a chicken dinner under their belt, especially one that we didn't really expect. So hopefully this gives them that momentum. You know what I'm saying? That little fire inside of their hearts to say, you know what, we can do this. Let's get it done.
Yeah, credit to where it's due. A chicken dinner is not, easy by any means in a lobby like this. So good job to them. Just one more, or not even a chicken dinner more. If they just start doing better overall, their storyline will definitely be added into the mix. Miramar Jukes, we're here. Playing path's looking good. Everybody should be able to get to where they want to go. And the zone, you had some nice circles today. Will we see another one here, Jukes? Which one do you want in particular?
Oh, well, I'm still begging for the prison, right? I'm still begging for the prison zone. Will it happen? No, but I want to see it one day. Why not we go El Pozo? Why not? Or, why don't we get some good old urban finishes? That's what I want to see. How about Los Leones? Why not?
Yeah. Or even more south. There's that cave further down south.
Ooh.
That could come into effect, That's always fun to watch because you'll have a team on the high ground and then a team inside the cave, and it's kind of like a standoff. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Is there any hot drops? So that's the big question. First, we got to take a look at that. Impala, 2 teams kind of heading that way. Might evolve into a scuffle, but definitely not a full-out hot drop.
Good old scuffle. Let's see if we could see it here, as we are going to see Execute split looting all the way at the bottom. They had a rough game in the last one, but with this position, they definitely can get something done. Meanwhile, we got 4-1-2 all the way up doors. PUPPETEER is going to have to make a nice rotation on in, as we do see a whole bunch of slow gameplay so far. No hot drops, and that's something that I like to see.
Yeah, we had a lot in the beginning, so I think teams got it out of their system. They've established, dominance if they did win those fights, and the other teams just, adapted and just got out of there and had to change up their game plan a little bit. So always great involvement. What's the word? Evolution.
Evolution, yes.
Yeah, always good to see the evolution of teams as the tournament goes on, rather than, trying to do the same thing over and over when it is not working. And Chico already being really quiet here. He could get a quick one onto Lotus. Lotus has no idea.
No, they do not. Not a clue at all. So Lotus going to have to play this very carefully. Anders.
I think it's done.
Yeah, I think he's
no
in
chance.
big trouble.
There's no.
Oh my gosh, he has nothing.
He doesn't even have a weapon yet.
Yeah, goodbye, Under. Just got a dream.
Man.
Oh, and Chico found everything. Oh, he did find him. He did find a weapon, but it don't matter.
That's the worst feeling,
It really is.
When you split up from your team to go loot, and you hear a car drive in, and you're like, oh, maybe I have a chance because they don't know I'm here. And then out of nowhere, you hear footsteps that are 5 meters away start to pitter-patter. It's like, oh, I've just walked into a trap.
I
And
walked
I'm
into a
done
trap.
for. Yep,
Ugh.
and no weapon.
It's the worst feeling ever. And
I've been there. Have you
we've
been
all
there,
been there.
Jukes?
Oh, we've all been there right there.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I beg PUBG Mobile to change, right? Just make the loot go crazy in every building.
Oh, execute.
Let's see, execute what they can do.
2 quick points. Take that 3. Yep.
Nice knock there. Very nice. So execute starting off strong, taking up BULUC CHABTAN. And BULUC CHABTAN is a team that is no one to shake your head at, that's for sure.
Yeah, not a pushover team. They've been putting up numbers.
Putting up some numbers indeed. And then we see Trick on the move. Trick on the move. Looking to get it started here. He does have 1 elimination to his name. Good for him. And we see YKG pick up a little straggler as well. That's going to be on to LOTUS. So far, so good. So far, so good. K19 having the entire city of Pecado to themselves. That's going to be Sin City. As we see Skur about to get into the truck with HH24 and on the move. Oof, those are some rough stats.
Yeah. They've been improving, though. You know,
They
the
have.
first, I think, 2 days, they were, like, non-existent. So that stat may not look pretty, but that majority of that comes from the first couple of days. They've been doing a lot better. Hopefully it still trends that way. And I like what's kind of going on here, you know, in the first week. We have the top 3 hitting teams, proving why they're the top teams. You know, YKG and Hyper. And a little bit, you know, surprising, for me anyways, but you knew it all along, Extreme Slayers.
Extreme Slayers, man. The way I've
Yeah.
seen this team perform in this tourney and, well, tourneys in the past, I was like, you know what? This squad's got a heck of a roster. They've been putting in a lot of work, and I think it's definitely showing out here. Will they be able to finish it? That's always the question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're on top right now. Consistency is key, and the most dangerous thing when it comes to playing at this high level is when you're at the top for so long, teams study you like crazy.
Yeah.
And then come finals time, since you're the most studied team, it's really tough. So, you know, it's definitely something to consider. I hope they have at least a couple backup plans going to the future as we watch XCC just make a
Yep.
beautiful bike ride.
Would you rather be caught on a bike or a snowmobile?
On a bike, why not?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the bike.
Because if I
It-
fail, it's because of my own calves. You know what I'm saying?
It looks like it could turn a little bit better than the snowmobile as well. As the buggy, the best vehicle in my opinion, to scout and rotate with.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, Remix. He definitely gets the buggy. Extreme Slayers, we were just talking about them. Look at those stats. Night and day difference.
Unbelievable. 10 elimination average on Miramar. That is insane. That's 2 squads and a half wiped every single Miramar match. So this is their home turf. This is their city. And we're just living in it. We're just watching them pop off here at this
Oh.
point. There goes Speedfire.
Oh, production. Come on.
You had to put up
Please.
0 elims.
Please. Oh. Well, hey,
Average 0?
they
Average
won.
0?
They won last match. So
They did.
So they do have that going for them. They might have had 0 eliminations on this map, but they get the chicken dinner last match. So they might be able to turn it around here as we take a look at some more team stats on Miramar in particular. 3 elims for the Puppeteers. You know, the Puppeteers, they've been consistent. You know, they've had some okay games. They've had like barely any rough games in my opinion, because they're just putting up, you know, a good amount of points every match. Of course, it's not enough to overtake the top 3 Titans, but it keeps them in there. And as long as they're improving, you know, day by day, you know, we might see them in the top later on.
And let's see if we will, as this zone is going more and more south. Will we see that Los Leones urban finish? Will we go back down the south side? We've seen a lot of these, like Minas del Valle, you know, that bridge right there where we see MEZEXIS. We've seen a lot of finishes near that area. Team should be used to it by now, and I would not be shocked if we see another zone go there, and it sure
whoa.
does.
That's a big shift to the left, and that's not good for all those teams coming in from the east road side. Oh, this is going to be a rotational nightmare for so many of these teams. And this is an area of the zone that we don't see too often in comp play. So some of these teams might struggle with figuring out the rotation pathing and which spots to take.
Yes, indeed. Let's see which spots they are going to end up taking. Execute are already in here, so they are in a great position. YKG playing that edge that they love to do. And, I mean, YKG, I said this is like a different YKG that we've seen season past, and I feel like this is YKG brought to you by Vampire Esports, because I'll tell you what, YKG, they watch PMWI, and it looks like they did their homework. They studied what worked there. And, I mean, they're dropping Primorse now. They're playing Edge. I like to see it, right? I like to see a team who's been, doing great synergy-wise, taking some, taking little tidbits from teams that have won a life-changing amount of money in PUBG Mobile in just a few days.
YKG. Respect and props to them, honestly. They got passion and fire for not just, comp, but for the game itself. They're the kind of players where if you talk to them about PUBG Mobile, anything PUBG Mobile related, they'll instantly be like right in on the conversation. So we'll see how far that takes them. Ooh, HH going down again, and
Tough.
I feel like it's always been HH. Like, gotta call it out. He's always the first one down for K19, at least for today, it seems.
Yeah, getting busted out in the early is always the worst thing that can happen to you. And hopefully we see HH bounce back, because we know what he could do, that's for sure. But I think he's just trying to get back in the mix of things. New metas, weapon domination. So sometimes it takes a little while to get a grasp on it. And we know he can. I think it's just going to take a little bit before we see it.
Yeah. And
I mean, heck, look, we're just finally starting to see Sixless start to put some work in here.
That's true. If anything, maybe HH is better, IGLing from the grave, because they've been doing better and better. And if it's always HH going down first, there might be some correlation there. We don't have the comms, but hey, if they're doing better, keep at it.
That's right. If it works, keep doing it. And let's see, his kill switch gets the finish on a Robert. Extreme Slayers losing another player early on. Kind of quiet on the day overall, Extreme Slayers. So
yeah,
not the day that they were looking for. I mean, you're always bound to have one. Hopefully they can see them at least finish strong here in this Miramar match. Tensa getting beamed on the roof at a worse time too, because this zone is starting to pop and it's away from them. So really, really bad timing for Execute, and they are going to have a hard job trying to get into this next circle. That's for sure.
Yeah, this zone does shift into more familiar territory, but Ace of Spades getting very aggressive here off that knock. I think it is due to the zone shift too. They're like, oh man, that's a hard zone shift. We may as well take the points here while we can and just edge in on the rest. So Ace of Spades, see what they could do. They're not able to get Tensa up, and for good reason, because the pressure is on.
Pressure is on indeed, as Ace looking to get this fight done, and they need to get it done quicker rather than later.
They're getting flanked.
Yeah, they're getting flanked, and this is the problem. Is like, when you have a fight with this kind of timing, you either commit to it or you leave, and they've already committed, so you have to send everybody. Send everybody, wipe them out as soon as possible, because getting into this next circle is going to be really tough.
Yeah, here's the fight. It's about to pop out. There's a flank for the side of Execute. Kill switch on the higher ground, providing cover, and he's going to come down for the straight-up fight, and yeah, just full send it. It's a compound fight. Keep all 4 players close. Ace of Spades is only going to have 3 because they sent the other player to look for some high ground off angle. That's a good nade, though.
Yeah, good nade. And Skyline catching Hayuya. Kill switch catching Kiddo, and we see another player from Ace down. Kill switch is going to have to hold it down. What a beautiful spray. Execute doing a great job of just shutting Ace down. And Ace is Fate. Didn't catch that off angle. And Fate does get knocked. And he gets thirsted at the same time. And this is what I always hate to see from Execute, is seeing their IGL just kind of solo and try to make a play and just get caught out time and time again.
It's still a close fight. It's not done yet. Ace of Spades with 2 up versus the 2 of Execute. Blue zone's closing in now. More damage done to both teams. First aid coming out. They are going for that revive onto Trick, so they'll go up to 3. but this is so tough for both teams.
Let's see how they're going to be able to finish this. Kill switch, waiting, take his time, does have his teammate there. See, that's what you do. When you're going to go and make a push, you got to be aware of where your team is and don't push until they're ready for you. And kill switch, beautifully, beautifully finished right there. Mumbai is going to take off from that situation. You know, I got to give it, I gotta rip into Fate a little bit here. I think Fate, this is a hard thing to do as an IGL. Your job is one of the hardest because you have so much that you have to focus on. You have to focus on making the calls. You got to focus on where to go next, everything. And sometimes you're so focused on all that when it comes to being in a team fight, you are more focused on what you're going to do with your own weapon rather than what the whole team is going to do. So I want to see Fate take his time a little bit, you know, wait for his teammates before he pushes. I know he loves those off angles, but seeing him get punished and taken out early for reasons that can be a little bit questionable, I think definitely needs to change sooner rather than later.
I agree, but I also do 100% empathize, right, with Fate. As a previous IGL myself, it's like when that thought comes into your mind that your team needs to do something, the amount, just like 1 or 2 seconds of saying what needs to be done feels like an eternity for you, because the second the thought comes in, like, we need to push now, you feel like it's already been 3 seconds. Time's already ticking by so fast. And so you just end up rushing that, and the rest of your team, like, they hear your comm and then they have to get ready to follow it. It's not like they think exactly like you, right?
For sure.
But it takes time, and honestly, the top tier teams have a synergy to a point where the IGL's thinking something and the rest of the team already understands in this situation what to do. But that's what every team strives to work towards.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done, and you're absolutely right. You see the top teams, it's like the IGL makes the call and they're already all moving. They're already all moving towards it, you know, and hopefully we'll see Execute get to that stage, but, you know, so far they're not there. So I want to see Fate take a step back, start making some adjustments so that that can get more gelled as time goes on, you know, or even, you know, I know for a fact he's probably doing that homework, talking to his team afterwards, being like, okay, how can we fix this call out? You know, how can we get on the same page? That's how you get better. And that's how we start seeing a team become a championship one.
MEZEXIS on the south side here. Skyline taking some shots, looking over at 4-1-2. The circle has been constantly shrinking, but we still have 14 teams up. So a lot of teams finding a way into this zone, be it through fighting their way in or finding a nice rotation. And we see a YKG on the edge of zone there. New circle is about to pop up too, and it looks like pretty much everything is occupied. There is a lot of dead space, but those are typically just like unplayable terrain. We'll see what the teams do next.
Let's see what they do next indeed. A Skyline looking to catch some angles here. He's got that UMP. They'll do a little bit of a scope switch, and he's going to be putting on some pressure onto the NOMADS. NOMADS starting to turn up a little bit. Oh, Skyline throwing some more utility. Trying to open up this fight. Uh-oh, Pain gets lit up on inside of the building. And this is right now they're both at the south side of the circle. No, they want to get this finished sooner rather than later because they know if the zone shifts, they're going to have to leave.
And nades are coming in. Trying to get this fight done, like you said. MEZEXIS, they get the opening. And they look like they're starting to crunch in. Crow on the low ground, flanking on the sides. Skyline pushing right in. Crow driving right through, causing a lot of noise distraction. Not able to get a run over. And one of MEZEXIS gets knocked. The second player gets knocked. 4-1-2 NOMADS putting up a huge defense and cutting the players down. But they're getting third party by none other than YKG.
YKG coming in, and you can just see them pushing. Chico does get knocked. Joey's going to throw all the utility he's got to try and finish this fight. And as Gun Pain is down, YKG is just going to reset real quick, get the pickup. The thing is, there's only 35 seconds left on the clock, and this is Zone 5. This zone is going to hurt.
Yeah, YKG could do this, though, because they have more info in the zone, and they're leaving one player back to plan out the next rotation, while the rest of the team here focuses on the third party and picks up some points. So it is a 3v3 here. Another nade. Aleem almost goes down. If that player went down, the rest of the squad was definitely going to full out push it.
All right, well, the question is, which team do you think is going to win the match? And this could be a tough one. There's a lot of different choices that could be picked here in this situation. Where's that next zone going to go? That's going to be the question. YKG saying, you know what? We ain't going to win the match from here. Let's just go ahead and jet and get into the next circle.
Yep. They try to get some more points. They picked up one. Hey, 1 point is always better than 0 points, and it adds up. When you constantly take these opportunities, pick up one here, pick up one there, they add up over the course of an entire tournament. So we'll see how many more they could get as Butterfly Effect take out Speedfire. Does Speedfire get any eliminations?
Oh,
nope.
no,
They're
they
still
did
going to be
not.
sitting at 0.
Oh
for
my
Miramar.
gosh. That is tough. A 0-point average on Miramar so far. About to finish week 1. Hopefully we'll see them get it done tomorrow, possibly. They're playing in that Miramar match. Meanwhile, BULUC CHABTAN down to 1 player as well. It's Illusion 22K. And he is not okay chilling in that shack. And he's most likely have to move in this next zone. A minute 22 on the clock. YKG do push up into the zone. So they got a little bit of time here to work with. Very good for them. BOPE. It's very spread out, very set up here in this one here. So if the zone goes away from them, it's going to be tough. But if it does stay, they're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, BOPE just putting out so much pressure onto everyone inside the city, creating a buffer zone pretty much. And it might work out for them because if the zone shifts off them, if they keep everyone else back, it'll just force everyone else to fight each other while they look for their way into zone. And they're on the high ground, so they have info on the center of the circle too. They could see in and see what's open, what's occupied, and maybe even third party.
What is Ocupado? We could see Rosh getting a shot right there on the side of his head. And he's going to go ahead and try to get back with his teammates sooner rather than later. Which team is going to finish top 3? All right. That is the question. Which team will finish top 3 here, Zute? All right. I'm going to go with the excuse. They did lose a player. I thought they were going to have all 4 up going into the zone. But they do lose 1. So we'll see if that works out for them. Next zone does pop. Meanwhile,
And
BOPE was picked by Cameron Davis. Cannot blame him at all. They are very well sped up. Oh, and they are going to be in this next circle. Looking really good for BOPE.
I feel like they need to do a little bit of a rotation though.
And there goes my pick.
Yeah, YKG is going
Goodbye.
to go right into that compound and flush those players out. And unless they can manage a 2v4 of some sort, they should look to relocate or group up. And yep, your pick, excuse, goes out. Puppeteers sitting comfortably on that north side with the high ground. No team's really contesting them here. They're just getting more eliminations. Look, they're already up to 5. You know, a rather quiet game so far, but they're just picking up points here and there.
Picking them up here and there. And this is a position that Excuse could have taken. It was wide open, but instead giving it up and being a little too comfortable, getting caught off guard. Fuego with a nice nade there onto Fetty.
Dang.
And an instant follow-up. Fetty's going to go ahead and crawl his way down the stairs to safety. And they're going to get a nice little res off him. That's always the problem with urban combat, right? You get the knock, but it's so difficult to get the finish.
Yeah, and that knock, it doesn't even damage their armor, right? All they use is meds to get back to full, but their armor is completely intact. YKG having to make a play, and yeah, BOPE did relocate, so they give up the southern portion of that roadside, which in my opinion, it's a good idea. Yeah, you're grouped up more towards the center of the zone. You have everybody on the same side to support each other, so you can't take up everything. So BOPE makes a smart repositioning there. K19, they've been in this spot for a while, but they only have 2. It's HH, 2-4, and 2Key. Can they do anything as a duo?
Can they? That's the question. And we're going to see Butterfly Effect making it into the late game here. This is what I like to see from them. They always end up caught in hot drop situations, getting wiped. So now they're in a position to actually make something happen in a pretty good solid part of the circle. But they're going to have to take out K19, playing it a little confident on that rotation. HH24's in the mix, though. Oh, and they're pushing it. Okay, they blow up the gas can. 2Key with the bounce nade. The bank is not open.
Ooh.
And HH24 getting knocked with the nade in his hand.
You gotta cancel that sometimes. No, you can't just pre-nade it, and I think they messed up there. It was a 2v1. They had one car crash in. I feel like they should have either pre-cooked the nade like earlier or just had their guns out and be ready to shoot the first person that pushes over. Nice try out of K19, but they will go down. Butterfly Effect take pretty much almost center zone in a great position. And we still got YKG here on the edge, and next circle is going to really stir things up.
It's going to stir things up indeed. Where's it going to go? Is it going to go on over to that east side where BOPE is? You know they want it. YKG wouldn't mind it as well. You got Dong and the rest of Puppeteers up in the north holding that spot. Honestly, Puppeteers could win this game. They're in a really good position. They have the entire north side down with a lot of elevation. Pretty much no matter where the zone's going to go, they're going to be able to find a position on into it. Let's see, where does it decide to move? Is it going to go central?
Yep.
It does. Wow, and a great circle here for Puppeteers. You know they're going to start really pumping up the aggression.
I love how the compounds are no longer in the zone on the high ground either. I mean, they can leave the compounds and play on top of those hills. Those hills are in zone, but that means all three teams on that high ground on the east have to move out of safety and fight for that hill range. So let's see how this goes down. YKG about to get involved. BOPE and LOTUS all need to make a play. And that was not the play.
And that was not the play. Super unfortunate there for LOTUS, but BOPE racking up some more points on the board. They got 3 to their name so far, and they're looking real good. Let's see how they finish, though. YKG has a full squad. Puppeteers has a full squad. All these 3 teams are dangerous, but YKG does not have the circle. They're going to have to push their way in here, and it's going to be very difficult to do so. Let's see what BOPE does. BOPE, honestly, are looking like they're focusing on a lot of different things. They're trying to gatekeep YKG and focus on LOTUS. I really think they need to switch focus and choose one or the other. And in my opinion, always covering that back is going to be that main priority.
YKG decided to not fight for the high ground, and they rotated straight in. They lost Chico on the way in, but they make a successful rotation, and look at that spot they're playing in. It is okay. Nades are definitely something they have to worry about. We'll see how much longer they can stay alive as 412 slamming into Butterfly Effect now.
And with this fight going on, YKG could definitely third party this if they decide to. Meanwhile, let's see what they opt for as Butterfly Effect is trying to defend themselves, throwing some utility back, one in the air, so we have to see the bombs burst in. Jason trying to catch one slipping. Each one of these players looking for that crucial first knock, and it is Yusuf to get knocked and thirsted.
Actually, Yusuf was knocked by Puppeteers, and then, the grenade from Butterfly Effect confirmed him, so Puppeteers still putting in damage from long range. No more nade openings yet. Molly's going back and forth now. Shots, no connections. Yeah, these grenades are deadly. Elsewhere on the map, Fetty goes down. That is LOTUS Esports eliminated out in 7th position, and Freepoint catches the nade. Now it's a 3v1, and here comes the push.
Kubi, DBS in hand. Bop! Oh, he pre-fired it. He knew where he was. And it's only a matter of seconds here before them goes down. Yeah, over peaks and gets absolutely thirsted. Reckless.
Dang.
Getting another shot. Puppeteers, man, turning it up. It is their game.
Yeah, they're putting in a lot of damage, softening up the armor for the next potential fight. And YKG. Oh, dang.
Wow. Saying, nope, wrong place to rotate to. Instantly taken out.
Sometimes it's so hard to decide when to rotate in front of another team, but that is what YKG did. They lost a player, but it has rewarded them by getting ahead and staying alive to gatekeep on the next zone shift. So YKG with 3, pick up some points. Fight's not done, though, as BOPE, the kings of the high ground, come down just a little bit more to contest with the rest of the squads. Puppeteers lost 1 player earlier, so they only have 3, making BOPE the only 4-man team.
The only 4-man team left, and let's see how they're going to use that man advantage to win this game. They were very blessed with this circle. They had a grid position inside of Los Leones, and they've really capitalized on it. Can they finish the game? Super Laser Reflex is taken out. Top 4 situation. Butterfly Effect on the south. Puppeteers spread out. Kind of dangerously. BOPE, I think, is going to have the huge advantage here in this game. If the zone does go south, YKG with that little ridge line is deadly.
You got to make sure Butterfly Effect doesn't take advantage of them, though. I'd like to see Butterfly Effect
Dog!
kind of sweep down to the south to see if they could do anything to YKG. And yeah, this circle's going dead to the middle. This circle
Ooh.
seems a lot bigger than usual, Jukes.
Sure does. Looks a little bit thicker than normal. Meanwhile, Dong getting a nice nade onto BOPE, and here they come! Up the hill, Puppeteers. They smell chicken, and they're gonna get it the hard way, applying a ton of pressure to BOPE, but they cannot get too reckless, as Reckless does get knocked. Nightcroc's taken out, and YKG is eliminated by Butterfly Effect. Dong
Just
with the finish.
out of the top 3. There goes my pick. Now we have the 3 both coming in. Ophelia try and get that knock. That would have been crucial. He misses it. It's a 1v2v2. And BOPE, all eyes on them right now because he's on the high ground. He exposes himself to a lot. As the rest of Butterfly Effect coming over. Ophelia's got a lot of work to do. Gets in the monster truck. Hail Mary. Olsen gets taken out. 2v2, Hot Jukes.
I like the effort. I like the effort. But here we go. 2v2 situation. Butterfly Effect versus Puppeteers. It's Dong. And let's see if he can go and make a play from this group. Uh-oh, he did get spotted by D, but he's got some return shots of his own. Applies the pressure, gets him down to 1 HP, but gets caught by Jason.
I like that backup. He was like, I need a heal, back up. And he instantly backs up. Now it's a 2v1. Puppeteers. Yeah, Blue Zone's closing too. Nice smoke. Walk off the angle a little bit. Can he find an opening though?
Lujan is in a tough spot, and Butterfly Effect get the chicken dinner here. So finally, making it to the end game and finishing it out. You can tell the squad is excited, and this could be another momentum boost for them.
Yeah, we had Speedfire win the last one, and now Butterfly Effect taking this one. Really good match for them.
15. Wow.
1800 damage and 15 eliminations. That's a lot. That's not an easy win on Chicken. Or that's not an easy win on Chicken. That's not an easy win on Miramar for that chicken dinner.
That is going to get your squad turned up. Ophelia with the longest elimination. Dong! Ding dong! Hello! Highest damage, 925 damage points right there. That is what we like to see. Hopefully we could see some more from him and squad. Cabra Davis, 7, getting the correct predictions of who's going to get into top 3. But none of us predicted that Butterfly Effect was going to win this match.
Not at all.
And I think
YKG.
we should all lose our points because of that. I think all of us should not get a point here because we did not predict Butterfly Effect to win this match. What do you think about that?
All I know is I picked YKG twice in a row for top 3, and they came in 4th each time. So maybe I'm jinxing them a little bit.
Could be. Could be. Could YKG turn things up? Can good old Juancho show up here the next match? That's going to be my question. But you know what? We're going to find out, guys, right after these highlights.
It seems like all the teams that were at the bottom decided to start getting chicken dinners first. It was Speedfire, and then now Butterfly Effect. Okay, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying it considering that some of the top teams, especially coming into today, first place, Stream Slayers, continuing on that downtrend, Cam.
Yeah. I actually went up to go do a quick errand.
when the game started, and I came back and they're gone again already. It's just shocking, the stark contrast today versus the previous 3 days. I don't think we've seen a flip like this so aggressively. This is, I think, a more dramatic flip than the passion fruit day 1, 2, and 3 until today.
I'm with you, especially with what Stream Slayers, the consistency that they were showing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, after game 3, by the way, if you can't pull up the match rankings, because I would like to see where they ended up with, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they ended up with 0 points.
0.
But you know what? We'll get to that when we get to it. Butterfly Effect, though, 25 points for them.
Yeah.
And then Puppeteer, a team that we've been hyping up, a team that we've been talking about in the past. They were known for just getting illims, not any placement points. They turned it around at the end of the spring split, and right now I think they're starting to turn it around here in the fall split, as they were able to get second place there with 14 points.
Yeah, and listen, when this map went towards the industrial area of, like, well, technically below Los Leones on the west side, I knew it was going to be a difficult match for whoever won it, because it's like kind of urban but kind of not. So you have some cover, but your opponents have a bunch of cover. They could be behind a bunch of different corners, but you also don't have the security of buildings to run between to make movement. So this one was really, it was really difficult to pick who was going to be in a top spot at this one, which is why I'm so shocked that Butterfly Effect were able to get so many elimination points. I would have expected that the winning team would, you know, be shared with like Puppeteers, BOPE, all those guys, like 6 to 8-ish amongst like the top 8 teams. But Butterfly Effect, they just hit this extra gear. They were just fragging out and getting all of those elims.
Yeah, and by the way, with YKG, they have been playing EasyJet today. It's good to see that they've been switching things up, and they were able to still finish with 10 points. So they have been consistent in regards to being able to get those points. Then you go over to Execute, 9 points, 8 out of those points coming from eliminations. This is a team that we've been seeing an uptrend for them. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here in the final game when we end up going to Sandhawk. But I would actually like to continue on and see that second page, because that's what we're talking about, Stream Slayers. I mean, at the end, 0 points. That's just not what you want to see, especially with the team that's currently contending for those bonus points, given that they do have a huge gap, right? But if some of those other teams continue to perform the way they are, and tomorrow Stream Slayers doesn't end up waking up, they could end up losing even more bonus points.
Now, they're definitely going to be getting, they have such a lead that they're definitely going to be getting some bonus points. But at this point, unless they come out with a huge, like, basically unless they have what is close to a win on the final map today on Sanhok, which, you know, it's Sanhok, so it could happen. They're basically gonna have let YKG and Hyper just run ahead with it. And in the same way that there is virtually no way for Execute to surpass Extreme Slayers, at this point, it's looking like Extreme Slayers, they're not going to be contending with Hyper or YKG for the top 1 or 2 slots anymore. Of this phase.
Yeah, they'll definitely get some bonus points, but they won't be getting those extra bonus points if they would have ended up in first place or second place, right? But you mentioned it, and Hyper and YKG. I actually want to take a look and see how they've been performing today, because we've been seeing some consistent performances, I would say. And so far, in Hyper, being able to get more damage, being able to get more illims. But overall, I mean, YKG barely being able to edge them out in the average survival time.
This is strange. Like, thinking back onto how we came to recognize these two teams, you'd almost expect it to be flipped, these stat numbers, looking back at spring. And I think this is showing that both teams are really putting an effort to evolve their game. And Hyper is trying to be more reactive, more explosive when the opportunity asks for it. You're seeing Kindness especially really take that plan to heart, a hypothetical, alleged plan, right? But then YKG on the flip side, they're trying to be less reactive, they're trying to be more in control of their game, and you're starting to see both these teams sort of, you know, they still have their own identity, but it really does look like, from what we've seen so far, and again, we'll see what happens when these teams when they hit the world stage, right? But it's really looking like both these teams are continuing to develop and evolve their game in a positive direction.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we're starting to see every single day that this tournament continues on. I mean, Hyper doing some aggressive plays that we're not used to, that now I guess we're gonna have to start getting used to. And YKG just continuing with that play, as Hajix was mentioned earlier. They're doing a lot of stuff that Vampire Esports was able to do in PMWI. When they dominated PMWI, they were able to look at the VOD reviews, they were able to look at them as well and see what Vampire Esports was able to do, and starting to mimic a little bit here in Innate. And I'm glad that they're starting to do that, right? Why not look at the best team in the world halfway through the year and start mimicking some of that stuff? So when you do end up going to Worlds, now you have even more on your game plan. Now you have even more stuff that you can go back to. And I do want to go back to YKG because I feel like he deserves a nice shout out. It's a Jat today. He decided to play and he ended up pulling up 9 illims. That is good for a bench player.
It is. It's looking really, really good, but we got one game left. I think YKG are sitting this
they're
one
sitting out. Yep.
So I think their game is done. It's a Jat, really good performance. But Extreme Slayers, it's your time.
It is. Also, PASSIONFRUIT Esports. Maybe they can finish it off with the win. Who knows? Anything can happen here in San Ha. Juksu, take it away.
Couldn't have said it any better. Extreme Slayers, where are you at? We have been waiting to see you pop off here today. You've done so well so far in the tournament. Don't tell me this is going to be that that drop down remix. Most eliminations, not anymore. It's going to be Kindness up on top of the board. Let's hopefully see them give it a nice little bounce back here as we see him drop right there towards Ruins. Another team, we heard, PASSIONFRUIT. If that zone honestly goes to that northwestern island, they're going to be in a good position here.
And gave it to them. I think Sandhawk is PASSIONFRUIT's worst map. We've seen PASSIONFRUIT's just constantly like get gate kept, get camped. Just the zone's always somewhere to the east, away from that northwestern island. So, I mean, they've been doing a lot better, and maybe the Circle Gods will reward them for that, as we do see a hot drop right there down the middle south of boot camp. It is once again Excuse and Wall Street Bets. They're going to keep fighting for it. And same with Paradise Resort. We have Canadian Eagles and Butterfly Effect.
Okay, well, Butterfly Effect getting into a hot drop situation? Say
Unheard
what?
of.
Unheard of. This is very off-brand for them. That's for sure.
Sarcasm,
And psych.
if you guys can't tell.
Yeah, and psych. All right, well, let's see exactly how this is going to end up here for these teams. We can see Baby Tang, big chillin'. This is a hot drop we've seen pretty much almost every Sandhawk, so.
Yeah, it doesn't fully evolve into a fight, though. We've seen sometimes they circle around each other and then leave. This time around, I think they might do the same thing. I know, we'll keep an eye out for them. They got close and then they backed off.
To say, or they end up getting bodied by YKG on their way out, so that's something they have to kind of keep an eye out for after this fight ensues. And you know, YKG's been doing their homework, but guess what? They don't got to worry about them here. They don't got to worry about them here. So that's going to be, I think, a little bit of an extra sigh of relief, right? They're allowed to finish this fight and don't have to worry about that pressure from the outside like before.
That might be why they're committing to the fight, because they know YKG isn't lingering by. But if YKG's not here, another team is, filling YKG's, spot. So they still got to be wary of timing. If this fight takes too long and the circle being to the west of them, pretty much, the team from the east could be rotating in. And we have the mini-map. We see BOPE is over there to the east side, and this could be in their pathing. So the fight takes way too long. They might get third-partied.
Totally possible. That's the worst part about Sandhawk, right? Every single time you're in a Sandhawk match and you get into a fight, it's like you have to have a timer in your head, because you know that if we take too long, we're going to get third-partied all day long. As far as that timer goes, Ute, what do you think would you guess it is? Like, what is that internal clock? How many minutes do you think a fight can go on before you know a third party's coming? If you were just to guess.
Oh, like, it depends. Like, on Sandhawk, I would give it like a minute. Like, if we can't finish it cleanly by the time, a minute is up, we should not exactly give it up, but just like be on the whereabouts of like, do we have someone set up to watch for a potential third party, look at the zone, all that included. But I think 1 minute is around the time where it's like you need to start considering things outside of the fight you're currently engaged in.
1 minute, folks. And I think that's about right. Literally 60 seconds. That's how crazy this is. You get into a fight, 60 seconds, you got to know that you have just literally might as well shot a flare gun right above you, and you know that there's going to be teams looking in your direction. And Let's look at Puppeteers, right? Puppeteers coming off a nice game. Looking to continue it here in Sandhawk. But unfortunately, look at their stats there on the left. Average eliminations, only half of an elimination. So they are definitely looking to get it done here on this map.
Better than 0.
Better than 0.
Better than 0.
That
And
is a fact.
they had a good match the match before. So MEZEXIS with 3 average elims. I'm curious to see which team has the most average elims on Sandhawk. Who do you think that would be?
Most average eliminations on Sandhawk. Let me think.
I mean, YKG had a huge game.
Yeah.
Right? It was like NHyper versus YKG at the end. It's got to be one of those two.
YKG. Yeah.
It's got to be one of those two.
I'm sure I'll get a ping in my ear of what it actually is. But meanwhile, oh, look at this. Speedfire.
Oh, no.
Oof. Going down.
Where's that
in a
momentum?
fire. Speedily.
They won a match 2 matches ago. I was hoping they could keep that momentum. We know on Miramar they got kind of cut down early. And here comes the
helps.
third party. That was not even a minute.
What? How's Crow alive?
Oh, he got out of the trees. The trees,
Oh.
they can't see through the leaves, but they can still shoot through the leaves as he does go down. Puppeteers with the long-range third
the
party and a
nade.
nade. Oh, this is not working out for Speedfire.
Not at all. That nade on the skyline was just disgusting. Here comes Baton with another one. Oh,
Yikes.
beats up Fresh and catches the edge of Clown. Here comes the push. He's going to wait for his teammates, though, which is smart. Don't just push out there blind because you got MEZEXIS behind you. Oh, he wants to jump that wall so bad. You can see it. You can see the itch. He wants to jump it. He does.
Oh.
He's got a nade. How is Fresh not shooting at him? Oh, he's got a DBS. That's why. He was waiting. Oh, that DBS shot made him nervous. He's got to be careful here.
He's in full control. Baton is perfectly fine. And yeah, Fresh has to move back now.
That's
And
good pressure regardless.
Oh, where'd that nade come from?
Wow.
Wait, who threw that one? Fresh was running around, no?
That was MEZEXIS? His own team.
That was
It
his
was
own team?
It was on to Skyline. Skyline, what have you done? Skyline, what have you done? You can just see he even put himself in a corner. He put himself in his own corner.
He's in timeout.
Oh, he's in big time timeout. That is rough.
Man.
Worst timing too, especially when you got Puppeteers right above you.
Yep. But
Okay,
it looks
well,
like
so
they can
yeah,
reset. It
not
seems
so
like
bad.
Puppeteers isn't pushing because 412, I think, got a knock on them. So
Interesting.
it slows everything down. So surprisingly, MEZEXIS could reset back to 3. Like
Lucky for them.
Luckily for them.
That's one of those timing situations. Just worked out, and the zone gonna go on down. So that means PASSIONFRUIT are gonna have to find their way in, and they could be good timing because 412 and Puppeteers are getting into it. If they haul it, they might be able to catch a third party, but that is always risky with these kind of zones. Meanwhile, down in Binon, we got Excuse going up against NHyper.
And Hyper crashing in. Excuse being very quiet, trying to lay a trap. They do open it up with GK first, but instantly traded. And great shots from Draco. But he's got to do one more. Can he get it? The pre-fire is good. Down to 1 HP. That won them the fight. It's not over. There's still one more, but that was crucial for him to clutch out.
Beautifully done. And Rin gets taken out. And wow. Bye-bye NHyper. First team out in Sandhawk.
Yeah.
See that coming?
Excuse play that really well. I think NHyper drove in thinking it was clear. Like, they drove in together as a team, willing to take a fight, but they still ended up losing it. Fresh gets 1. He's got 2 more to contend with, though. Is he able to do it? Some third-party fire, tagging up players from MEZEXIS a little bit. Shimmy's back and forth. DBS not connecting, hitting the wall. That one hits, and so does the next few pumps. Fresh, looking fresh, Jukes, with that 1v3.
Beautifully done. Fresh. Wow, 3 eliminations. You know that's going to pump up his squad. And hopefully they can take this momentum into tomorrow. It's going to be tough for him to finish here with only 1 player, especially in a map like Sandhawk. But look, hey, that's more than what their average eliminations are by quite a bit.
Yeah. Very well done by Fresh. Playing it slow and patient. MEZEXIS have got to be kicking their butts right there. Can't disrespect the DBS, and more shots coming out. BULUC pushing up onto this, I believe, is on the north, away from the circle. Yeah, they're just taking a fight outside of zone here.
All right, take it outside of zone. Don't even worry about it. Beautifully done. As we are going to go ahead and start seeing BULUC CHABTAN playing it very tight on this rotation. Going to start looking down onto Butterfly Effect, and one of the players of Butterfly Effect does go down, and that's to PASSIONFRUIT. So they are split up, and you can just tell BULUC CHABTAN is looking to capitalize.
They're looking.
They're looking.
The other team has run far away, or they're trying to get further away. So we take a look at BOPE. This is on the far southeastern edge. And I think they know there's players up here doing a little buggy bait scout, trying to bait out some shots. They do get a nade in return. So they know there's snakes here. They got to be careful. They get out of the buggy. They're on foot. Looking for some nade knocks. Really good one right there. And shots from the side, the off angle. The off angle is good. Tags him up, and then the nade finishes it off with knock drop.
That nade, so disgusting. Doing a great job here.
Look at this off angle, though.
That off angle, oh my goodness. Ace of Spades. I mean, we've seen Ace of Spades struggle quite a bit here today. But, you know, it looks like they're making some really sick plays here on the BOPE. Oh, Supra gets caught on fire, too.
Yeah.
And caught out. Let's go. Ace of Spades now starting to turn it up.
Yeah, they got to be careful here, though. They could still lose a player and get himself thirsted. So it's a 4v2, and they should keep 4 up after this fight. And they have the zone next to them. They have time to play with. Don't rush things too much here.
That's right. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it, and you should be good. So let's see how they opt to play this.
Nice, another pick.
Another
that
one,
off
too.
Angle, putting in so much work.
This is the time where those off angles are really, really do come in clutch. When you're able to play it like this. And BOPE just getting nothing they could do, just getting picked apart. Yeah, I mean, Ace of Spades, that was a clinical split push right there. Clinical.
Yes, really well done. The off angle way far in the back, pretty much almost in the blue zone. And I've seen really top tier teams, like when it's earlier in the match on Sandhawk, they go into the blue zone for that off angle flank, and teams almost never expect it. Well done for Ace of Spades.
Absolutely. So this is a performance we've been really waiting on from Ace of Spades. So to see them bust it out like that, you know they got to be hyped. Let's go.
Indeed. Looking at the map, next circle dish pop centers right onto Pinon. I don't know if it's centered on Pinon because, you know, that was the spot Hidden Hyper wanted, or if it's just, you know, coincidence. But Pinon, that's where we're going towards execute. On top of the Pinon Hill, the west side of the Pinon Hill, which is more centered than the east. So they're in a good spot.
Good spot indeed. So they're not having to worry about too much. That's for sure. Meanwhile, let's see where the rest of the teams are looking to play. Looking at Wall Street Bets right now. Wall Street Bets on the move. Meanwhile, BULUC CHABTAN and Excuse still holding down Pinon. What are you going to do in this situation? Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely
the calm before the storm.
A slower Sandhawk game. We've had a lot of action early on. And Hyper, just in a blink of eye, MEZEXIS gets 1v3'd. BOPE taken out by Ace of Spades, putting on a clinic right there earlier where we saw the South. So a lot of teams are kind of cut down. And this is the calm before the storm. Oh yeah, PASSIONFRUITs. Yeah, they're in a bad spot. I feel like rotations on Sandhawk for PASSIONFRUITs just never works out for them. We'll see if they can get much further in the zone without losing a player.
Let's see if they can indeed.
They should change drop spots.
Yeah, they really should. It's, I mean, well, it's a bet, right? It really is, right? That island is either huge and it's like automatic victory, or you get stuck in a position like this. So regardless, I think it's good practice for them to adjust having to like move into a zone. But I mean, Extreme Slayers has their number. They are completely locked onto this location.
Yeah. I don't know. I never liked that northwestern drop to start. Unless if you're a team that specializes in fighting their way in, which I don't think that's PASSIONFRUIT's forte, right? Their roster doesn't come off as a, fight your way in on rotations. They're more of like a looking for key rotations and positioning type of squad. So that spot Sanok, I don't think it's it. Not for PASSIONFRUITs.
Yeah, maybe it's not for them. It does work for some squads, but they haven't gotten that zone, right? And they haven't been able to capitalize when they don't get it. So yeah, the teams that do, I'm talking about like Gladiators, their squad that likes to go in that area. When they don't get zoned, they have it down to like perfection on how to get their way in. And PASSIONFRUIT, definitely are still yet to kind of get that down.
Yeah, I'll give them some more time, or just change the draft spot. Execute getting a little bit contested here by Extreme Slayers. Extreme Slayers already with 2 elimination points. Killjoy nading themselves in the elimination fee, not sure what's happening over there. And Execute, they gotta hustle back and forth. A lot of, control, but a lot of sight lines. So they gotta be wary of not getting flanked or third party from a different team.
And we're gonna go ahead and see where this different team is going to come from right now. As Wall Street Bets have their eyes. Ji-Woon. Oh, he's got the Bob Barker. He's got the MK14. One of the best CQC weapons to have. Does so much damage. And yeah, I think Gunpain heard those shots and said, nope, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, that gun is like one of the loudest weapons too. So close range, you can't hear any footsteps when that thing's going off right next to you. So a little bit added, advantage when it comes to CQC with that weapon.
PASSIONFRUIT.
PASSIONFRUIT's out. Oh,
Gone.
PASSIONFRUIT is out.
PASSIONFRUIT's gone. So they're going to be going down early with only 2 points to their name. Rough finish for them. So a nice stellar start. A little bit of a lull at the end. Not the 5 eliminations every game I wanted from Juancho, But I am happy to see a massive improvement than what we've seen before.
Yeah, definitely give them that. And honestly, change the drop spot. Just
change it out.
It's not suited for them. It's just not suited for the next zone. Jukes. We're heading to the west side.
All right.
River not in zone. Well, some of the rivers in zone, but it is going to be over here. And Ace of Spades, they're going to need to find a way to push into Execute.
All right, well, the question is, which team was going to have the most eliminations, guys? What do y'all think right now? I mean, we're starting to see some of these squads definitely pick up the points. Extreme Slayers are starting to frag out. You got Excuse with 5. I think it's Extreme Slayers' time to shine. I think they've let other squads pass them up, put too many points on the board. They got to make something happen here and now, especially when you got a squad like YKG sitting out and Hyper out early in this one. This is their chance.
Gotta agree. My pick would be Extreme Slayers as well. We'll see what they can do as Wall Street Bets putting up some elimination points themselves. Long range tip taps. Baby Tang. Dodging and weaving.
Wow.
The last shot. Killjoy gets it. It's all down to Bob. Can he make it in the water? Swan dive. Oh, that works too.
Lay down. I wanted to see that, dive right in the water.
Ace of Spades, here's the push. They made it into zone, so they don't have to push anymore, but they should probably look to keep going because they're all kind of cornered back there. One good nade is going to do massive damage to their team.
Yes, it will. You got to be really careful in these kind of situations. That's where it's most dangerous, 100%. And we see Killswitch, got his eyes locked and loaded. He's going to go ahead and pop that energy drink. Even though he's fully health, that extra boost, when you're fully boosted, it gives you a little additional run speed. And that's something you're going to definitely need in these kind of situations.
Tensa's knocked, opening for the side of Ace of Spades. This Ace of Spades team, we saw a clinic push earlier. Can they pull off another one? This one, you're not able to use the off angles, but the third party, Execute's gotta be careful. Extreme Slayers, hearing all the commotion, is getting closer and closer.
Yes, they are. Closer and closer indeed. Execute, starting to make the move. Killswitch gets in the vehicle, gets bopped, and Fate waits behind. Goes for the shots. Blinky Bay catches him slipping, and Fate gonna get thirsted here. IGL getting knocked out first once again. Let's see if we can see the rest of the squad, though, make something happen. Tensa knocked is a tough situation. Now it's just really up to Killswitch and one other player here from Execute to make something happen.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, Execute's in a great spot, but there's way too many sight lines. I feel like they should have just picked one side and moved more over. Let Ace of Spades in a little bit, but put Ace of Spades maybe in the middle between themselves and Extreme Slayers. That is definitely hindsight, however. They still have 3 up. They can make something happen. They managed to stabilize quite a bit. It looked like they were about to get taken out with Extreme Slayers getting close and with Ace of Spades getting more aggressive.
Look, Remix just needs to start remixing. You know what I'm saying? Once he starts mixing it up, Extreme Slayers has nothing to worry about. So they have a great angle. Execute is completely pinned and down to just Trick and Tensa. So let's see how you do it. Hayuya actually goes up for the drive up, does survive. That's why you take those vehicles in that situation. So now he has the sight line, he has the info. You gotta know the place coming out. What a park job though. That was the wrong place to put yourself. Now here comes Remix with the utility. He knows exactly where they're at. They should get taken out here. Yep, here come all the nades. Tensa, Trick have to peek out and make something happen.
That
nade looks good though.
Yep.
Oh no, it's on his own teammate. Remix, no! Okay, Remix, I'm sorry. I took him out. I'm sorry.
I think it's that Baby Bray in the back with the supporting fire guy. Put them both maybe. Ultra Bet's getting cut down. It's a 1v1 in the shack. Jera, can he find the finish? G-Woon desperately trying to dodge everything. The nade, the toss
He actually
out.
went for the heal. The MK, make it happen. You got the Bob Barker. You don't need the health. Oh, he thought he was safe.
Oh,
He thought he outranged it. He thought he could take it. He said, I could take it. Oh my goodness. And he couldn't.
gotta make a run for it now. Fetty instantly re-knocked. BULUC in the open gets cut down. Ace of Spades looking like they're in full control of the mountaintop. It's gonna come down to Ace of Spades and Extreme Slayers shoots a head-on 4v4. The east side versus the west side.
We go. Extreme Slayers rocking 8 eliminations. Looking to make us proud and get the most here in this match. Excuse got a nice total to end things out. Let's see if we could see Extreme Slayers finish the entire squad of Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades, though, have turned it up this match, looking a lot different than they have in previous ones. Their synergy looks to be on point. Their decision-making has been rock solid here in this Sandhawk. Can they finish it, though, with Extreme Slayers? This is pretty even when it comes to terrain. I will give the slight advantage to Extreme Slayers because Ace is definitely on their back foot, but it is Sandhawk. There's so much coverage. This hill is also dangerous. It's really about who's going to be able to get that first knock.
It's going to end up with Ace of Spades needing that first knock because once this zone closes, center zone is definitely in favor of Extreme Slayer. They have way more ground control. But like you said, this is Sandhawk. The grass, the snake play will come in. And it's going to be a head-on 4v4. First knock gets the big advantage. But who's going to find it?
This is why you want to hold all that utility to the end if you can afford it. You know, you really want to save some because it's a knock like that. That's going to get you turned up. And Ace, we're playing it in full snake mode, forced to play right at the edge. It's usually a dead giveaway of where you're going to get knocked. And Remix getting another one. This should be an absolute raffaroni. And that is what it's going to be. Extreme Slayers finally showing up in the last match and in a major way.
Really well done for Extreme Slayers and Ace of Spades. I think Ace of Spades was just hoping, crossing their fingers that the opposing team was going to make a mistake and give them a free opening. But Extreme Slayers, they're no amateur team. They didn't give any free openings, so Ace of Spades needed to get way more aggressive there at the end.
Yeah, definitely. When you're just stuck, laid down right there at the edge of the circle, it's a dead giveaway of where you are. Easy place to just throw a nade. They gave him so much room to breathe, and Extreme Slayers just said, oh yeah, we're wiping the floor with these guys and taking this chicken dinner. I got to give it up to Ace of Spades for putting up one heck of a fight, though.
Oh yeah, they did great.
Making some really, really nice plays early on. You know, a couple little tune adjustments towards the end, but nothing to shake your head at. Remix with the most eliminations with 4. Robert GG with the highest damage. This is the Extreme Slayers we've been waiting to see.
I'm so happy you saw this Extreme Slayer on the very last match of the day, because honestly, you were questioning it. The desk was questioning it. Is Extreme Slayers just falling off? but this win, will give them the momentum into the next day as well.
Yeah, I mean, with so many days to be played here in the PMPL, you're bound to have at least one bad one, right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that Extreme Slayers didn't really allow this to be a bad day, right? Because 1 out of the 4 matches, you get a chicken dinner with an insane eliminations. That's going to really keep you in the action.
Gotta agree with that one. Extreme Slayers, they had a huge game. We saw the Titans have a huge game, and we saw a lot of teams that we were hoping to get a huge game. I mean, Jukes, I think this day went perfectly. So let's take it to the highlights, and we'll wrap it all up with the desk.
Bam.
Whew. Okay, Extreme Slayers. Okay, I see you drank your Monster Energy, our official energy drink partner, here for the final game in Sandhawk. That's what we're talking about. By the way, shout out to this man right here, because he called it. He said they might use Sandhawk to actually get that chicken dinner, and not only did you call it, you actually picked them to win.
That's true. I mean, we all did. We all picked them to get the eliminations, but like the second they got those 4 eliminations under their belt, all 4 of them were still up. It was only like phase 4 or phase 5 at this point. It was just like, okay, they're back, they're locked in. Like I had to, and it didn't hurt that there wasn't another team that was like already steamrolling out of control. Like in the previous matches, we saw PASSIONFRUIT do that. Here, it wasn't the case for them, as the casters were talking about their issues with their own rotations off that island, etc., etc. But yeah, it's really exciting for Extreme Slayers that they were able to answer back in such a big way. And even though YKG and NHyper are still quite ahead of them on the overall leaderboard, it's not nearly as bad as it would have been if it was just a disastrous day.
Yeah, before Sandhawk, I think Remix had 0 elims, and he was able to finish the day with 4 that he was able to get in that Sandhawk. But you know what? Let's take a look at that match ranking, because I do want to see how some of the other teams were able to do in Sandhawk. Ace of Spades, a team that I kind of been criticizing because we haven't seen much out of them. Finally, we're going to see a little bit more out of them with those 13 points. And excuse BULUC CHABTAN. I mean, BULUC CHABTAN, remember earlier in the day, they were being super aggressive. Being able to finish there with 5 elims, 9 points total. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, good scores across the board, but yeah, you just got to continue to look at the top 22 for Extreme Slayers, Ace of Spades, Excuse. I really like how Ace of Spades played this match. That rock sort of poor man's Stonehenge area on Sandhawk can be kind of tricky to play around because of the dramatic pillars there. I think they controlled that very well when they were going up against, who was that, Execute. But then Extreme Slayers, at the very end, that end game, the part that I'm going to call out, it's those 2 players rushing forward and actually getting that position on the opposite side of that rock tower. But still, even up until that point, though, Ace of Spades played around that area very well, utilized those rocks to the advantage, isolating cover, getting their sight lines, and really just trying to take control where they could.
Yeah, and for Extreme Slayers being a little bit of the aggressors there at the end, too, being able to get the first knock with that nade. And then as I'm going down the list here, Wall Street Bets Gaming, 4 points, Canadian Eagle Esports. I kind of want to take a look a little bit more here towards the last page, because I am actually not surprised to see PASSIONFRUIT Esports only get 2 points, because I can say this with 100% confidence, Sandhawk has been their worst map so far, and it has to do with what Sute was saying, and I'm so glad Sute and Hajix were able to point this out. That map landing spot that they currently have in Sandhawk is just not working out for them. They always struggle getting into the circle. Maybe when they end up moving, they'll end up getting the circle, but right now with that landing spot on the northwest island, it's not working out.
Yeah, Yeah, listen, if it's true what they're saying, that the style of Passion Fruit is just more about finding opportunities when you're in a more defensive position, less of a spear trying to break through the front line, then that is not a position that you want to take. It is difficult though, because they are in this league still, I would consider a dark horse. It's difficult to throw your weight around and try and be more aggressive against the other teams in your lobby of, oh, we want this drop spot. And so, like, what's the alternative? Hot drop and actually try and push another team out of a different position? It's sort of a catch-22 if you're already locked in for the season, which they might be at this point.
Yeah, one thing I can think of is a little bit faster rotations. It's something even going back to Gladiators gaming. I mean, they were having a lot of trouble. GG and PMWI when they came out rotating out of that area, because it's the exact same landing spot. So just rotating out a little bit faster for PassionFruit Esports might end up working out for him. But you know what? We did have a lot of good performances from a lot of teams today. Extreme Slayers being able to finally get that chicken dinner there at the end of the day. I want to look at the overall ranking and see how it shaped up, because you were mentioning it could have been a lot worse for Extreme Slayers. And guess what? They actually end up in second place even after such a bad first 3 games.
Yeah, helpful by the fact that they got the win, but Hyper also went out very early with very few points. So my math is poor. Math on the fly is not great for anyone. As you know, you watch enough Battle Royales, you watch enough PUBG Mobile, and you realize that, you know, you're always going to get caught off a little bit, but still, Extreme Slayer is really catching up and overtaken Hyper, but there's that still 13-point gap that YKG was able to develop for themselves, because they haven't had one bad game. They had one okay game, but if 6 points is your worst game, YKG are continuing to perform very, very well.
Yeah, for Extreme Slayers, 25 points. I mean, once again, saved by that final game out of them. And Puppeteers being able to jump up there to 4th place, execute there in 5th. And I want to go towards the second page, actually, because I'm intrigued to see how much closer it's still going to be between some of these teams. BOPE Esports, Canadian Eagle Esports, this was the team I was hoping they would end up moving up. I think at the start of the day, they ended up in 14th place. Good to see them. So it's starting to get a spark. Passion Fruit, I feel like definitely one of the most improved teams.
Yeah.
At the end of the day for today, because wow, the performance that they have. I mean, look at the elims. They currently have the most elims out of this second page, and no one is even close to them.
Yeah, however, if you do, you know, look at the overall ranking as one big giant sheet, you will notice that unlike at the very beginning of the day, where the middle 10 teams or so were like all within 5 to 10 points of each other, you're starting to see some separation within even that middle section, even ignoring the top 3 teams. While PassionFruit Esports did perform good to put themselves in 12th place where they are right now, because we're seeing more consistent performances from Puppeteers, from Executes, from, I mean, I guess Ace of Spades if you want to. Consistent doesn't sound appropriate to describe them, but either way, excuse up there as well. They're not able to capitalize as much as they would have been if, say, those middle of the pack teams were performing more like how they used to the first couple of days.
Yeah, what's crazy to me here as we go towards the third page, Butterfly Effect, I mean, Speedfire, teams that were able to get chicken dinners too. I mean, Speedfire is just so far behind Butterfly Effect right now that at this point, going into tomorrow, I would say just toss it up. I mean, you're not really going to be able to get even close to the bonus points, right? Work on some stuff that you might be able to work on for phase number 2, because that is going to be coming up. I mean, you're only going to have one day off, so why not just use tomorrow to maybe collect some extra info on what some of the teams are going to be doing in regards to rotations, or how they react towards how they're going to be playing. And for Skills of Mine, I feel like at this point, teams are just going to be looking at Skills of Mine and be like, you know, I think those might be easy points right there.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just focusing on the fact that Speedfire have 1 chicken dinner, but only 13 placement points. You remove that win, they only have 3 placement points after 19 rounds. That's a very, very troubling sign on how they're able to play through their mid game, and the fact that they struggle so much to hit placement points.
I'm gonna bite my tongue, okay? But if you don't want to bite your tongue and you want to share your thoughts with us on social media, make sure you use that hashtag PMPLNA. We might end up showing some of you guys' social posts, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it nowadays, or Discord. Let us know. Use the hashtag PMPLNA. Overall, what is your highlight for today, Cam, before we let everybody else go?
I really like the Extreme Slayers comeback, right? But also like really Extreme Slayers that sort of swing back up at the end, but probably more than that is Passion Fruits being able to come out so strong. You trade. Even though their end was a drop-off in stark contrast to Extreme Slayers, like they were polar opposites. But either way, those two teams for their own unique reasons. PASSIONFRUIT's really just being able to look like almost an entirely different team.
I'm with you, and I think it has to come with Valak being able to play the way they've been able to switch up that roster. I wonder if they're going to continue to switch up that roster. We've been seeing YKG today. They were able to put in Isajat so he can get some practice, and we're seeing some of the other teams like Execute put in Kill Switch, and that has made a big impact for them. So I can't wait to see what teams are going to be switching their roster a little bit, seeing if it impacts them in a big way, or maybe they just continue on with what they're doing. Nonetheless, make sure you tune in tomorrow for day 5, the final day of phase 1, because I'm excited. I know Cameron's excited. Shout out to the casters, Hot Jukes and Sute. Shout out to this beautiful man right here, and shout out to production. I can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Staying completely away. K19.
Still got one up. The DBS.
It's out. Oh my gosh.
Walking right into the DBS. The 1v2 right now, Hot Jukes.
Alf, it's your time.
No.
Can you do this? He gets another. One more. The DBS under. Where are your